Sims against Walter Payton. You couldn't ask for much more. Billy Sims leads the league in rushing, but sometimes the greatest runs are 1 or 2 yards, as last week when Billy Sims got 2 big plays against the New Orleans as the Lions won that game. Let's listen to Billy talk about that.
Basically, it was designed for, going over the top play if there's too much penetration on the ground. So the first time I tried it, what happened, I had my body in, but the ball was on the outside. And the second play was identical play again, so I tried to make sure that the ball was inside, across the plane instead of my body.
And you do a few 1.5 gainers there.
It was something that I've been doing, a long time, but whatever it takes, to get the ball in, I'm willing to do that.
Billy Sims, of course, Detroit went on to win that game 24-13 over New Orleans.
Well, he's got Walter Payton as #2 against him, but of course for the Bears today the big change is at quarterback, where it'll be Vince Evans getting his first start since a year ago. Earlier this season against Minnesota, he came into the game late, came up with a big bomb touchdown. We talked to him about it earlier.
Well, the touchdown came a little too late because we were down, I think, about 3 touchdowns, and it was a 1st and 10 play. And we decided that we needed a big play at that time, so we sent Ricky Watts on a post pattern, and Ricky read the coverage very well. The free safety was kind of looking at the play action a little bit, and Ricky got over the top for a big play, and I just kind of laid it out in front to him, and he did the rest on his own.
Well, of course, they've got to get offense from Vince Evans today.
Yes, they do. As you can see, Chicago's 2-4. If the Bears lose today, just about any chance to win the Central Division title would go out the window because the Bears would be 2-5 and the Lions would be 6-1.
The Lions are hurting along their offensive line, and indeed, after looking at some of the players in the warm-up, they've made a couple of changes in the starters, as we understand it at this moment. Amos Fowler unable to start at center. It'll be Willie Parker there, and Tommy Ginn, a rookie, goes for Homer Elias. And, of course, Keith Dorney already out of action. And the Bears kicking it off to Rick Kane, who brings it up the middle over the 25-yard line to the 28 of the Detroit Lions in white to our right, the Bears in the dark uniforms to our left. Otis Wilson made the tackle, a 23-yard return for Kane.
And here's the Bears' #1 draft choice, Otis Wilson, coming down to cover the kick. And Otis gets himself in a little bit of trouble here, gets jammed up, and does get in on the tackle, though, Otis Wilson.
All right, first down for the Detroit Lions. Gary Danielson, with all the bumps and bruises, is the starter. His shoulder is really the key. And the first play is to Dexter Bussey, stopped right at the line of scrimmage by that very tough front of the Chicago Bears. The linebacker Campbell and the middle linebacker Hicks on the tackle. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10. Bussey and Sims, the running backs. Gary Danielson is the quarterback, #16. The receivers, Freddie Scott, Leonard Thompson, and the tight end David Hill. Along the offensive front, Baldischweiler, while Elias we do not think is in there, Parker, Bollinger, and Whitehead. Tommy Ginn is the starting left guard. So they are hurting offensively. Billy Sims dropped the ball, recovered by the Bears. Osborne, #68, picking up the loose ball as Sims fumbled at the 30-yard line, and the Bears have an early opportunity at the Detroit 29.
We'll take a look at the handoff as Sims comes through it. It seemed to be right there. He just never did really get control of it, and there was #68, Jim Osborne, for the recovery, and the Bears have the ball on the 29-yard line with Vince Evans at quarterback.
You know, I think Osborne might have knocked that ball out of Sims' hand and then fell on it for the Chicago recovery. First down Bears, and they come out in a wing formation, moving the tight end Earl now up into the standard tight end position. Roland Harper straight ahead behind the left guard, Noah Jackson, picked up a couple. Roland Harper and Walter Payton are the running backs. Ricky Watts comes in now to replace Ryan Baschnagel at wide receiver, as we see Vince Evans, Harper, and Payton in the backfield. James Scott, Robin Earl at tight end, Baschnagel the starter, now Watts is in there. On the offensive line, Albrecht and Lick the tackles, Jackson and Sorey the guards, and Dan Neal at center. The Bears have nobody on the injured list. They're in perfect health for today's game. Again, the I formation in the wing. Walter Payton, good hold. Payton ducks under a tackle and has a first down at the 12-yard line of Detroit.
And I think maybe Walter Payton is after Billy Sims. It seems that every time a great running back comes in to play the Bears, Walter gets his dander up and has a great game, as you see him following Roland Harper's block, dips into the inside, cuts back to the outside as Robin Earl, number 81 through a good block on Charlie Weaver, and finally they bring Peyton down. Ray Oldham on the tackle. The Bears at the 12.
First down, Chicago. Ray Oldham made that stop for the Detroit Lions. Lots of shifting offensively this first series for the Bears. Peyton off tackle left inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Picked up 3, maybe 4 on the play. And it was Stan White, the outside linebacker, number 52, who made the tackle. Defensively for the Lions, Dave Purifoy and Al Baker at the ends. John Woodcock and John Mendenhall are the tackles. The linebackers, Weaver, Fantetti in the middle, and Stan White. The secondary, Williams and Hunter on the corners. Oldham for the injured Luther Bradley, and Jimmy Allen, the other safety. It is second and about 6.5 from the 9-yard line of the Lions. Opening series for the Bears following Billy Sims' fumble. Peyton dancing, skipping over the 5 into the 3-yard line. And the Bears will be about a yard short of the first down.
Peyton stopped by Brink.
Here you get an isolated view of Walter Payton. Comes back on the inside handoff, and you can see that there was some hole on the back side as Dan Neal threw the key block, and Payton just scrambled forward and almost got the first down. The Bears at the 3.5-yard line.
Dan White pulled him down. It's 3rd and a yard for the first down, and that marker is right at the 2-yard line. Extra tight end is in. Robert Fisher, number 85. Cutting it back. Got to maybe the 1-yard line. Good defensive work by the Lions. Forcing in there was Ray Oldham, number 23, and then it was Mendenhall who made the tackle with help from James Hunter. And he is close to the first down marker, and they're going to measure.
And look at this statistic. The Bears have scored only 1 touchdown during the first half of all their games this season. That's not very many.
Lions coughing up the ball on the first series could find themselves in a hole early. The Lions leading the league in offense coming into this game with an average of 405.5 yards a game, and they haven't led the league in that department since 1936.
They're also number 1 against the rush. So far, they haven't been able to show that kind of performance yet against the Bears today.
They'll have to show it here. 1st and goal from the 2. Harper stopped at the 1-yard line. Running behind Jackson and Albrecht. Excellent defensive work. Fantetti, the middle linebacker, and Baker, the right defensive end, combining to put the stop on Harper.
And you can see Harper, number 35, as his legs will keep going. Stan White has him, but he has Noah Jackson pushing on him, and Harper just keeps driving and driving off that knee that was caused him to be out for a year. But it looks like Rowan Harper is back and getting stronger each week, which is good news for the Bears, bad news for Detroit.
Harper came into the game 67 yards on 15 carries, most of it last week against Minnesota. 2nd and goal inside the 1. Evans did not appear to make it. And there are no touchdown signals. A pile up right in the middle, all of that Detroit front 4 with the linebackers getting into the gaps. Everybody in on the tackle. It looks like that important submarine thrust was made by number 64, John Mendenhall. And they moved it maybe a half a yard. It'll be 3rd down. About a foot to go for the Chicago touchdown. Watts brings in the play. Bashnagel comes out.
Well, they usually do one of 2 things in this kind of a situation. Try the quarterback sneak again or give it to Walter. Walter doesn't run. He just flies over the goal line, as we saw Billy Sims how he did it last week against New Orleans.
They come out in an I formation with Harper, the lead back. Evans again, touchdown. Vince Evans, making his first start since September 1979, has scored from 1 foot out as the Bears capitalize on the Lions' error to go in front.
He just followed Dan Neal. Fantetti tried to anticipate, but when you only have to go a foot or so, it's pretty hard to stop a quarterback if he takes that little leap and gets up over the line. Touchdown, Chicago.
29 yards yards in 8 plays following the Billy Sims fumble. Bob Thomas will attempt the point after. Baschnagel holding. Has it. Bob Thomas now 8 for 8 in that department. And the Chicago Bears have taken the early lead. We have 9:36 remaining in the first period of play. Chicago 7, Detroit no score. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris at sold-out Soldier Field. 64,000 fans on hand in chilly weather. 45 degrees as we see the Chicago drive going 29 yards following the Sims fumble, using up 4:34 on the clock.
And Peyton got 25 of those yards, so he's after Billy Sims.
And Evans didn't throw a pass. Thomas's kickoff is taken by Ken Calicut at the 10-yard line. Calicut over the 25 to the 28. And he was stopped by reserve linebacker Bruce Herron and Otis Wilson. An 18-yard return, and the Lions will try again. As we look at the Bears' defensive line, Dan Hampton, who will be working against the rookie Mike Whitehead. Hartenstein on the other end, Osborne and Page in the middle. Jerry Muckensturm, Tom Hicks, and Gary Campbell, the linebackers. Terry Schmidt, Alan Ellis on the corners. Gary Fensick, Doug Plank are the safeties. First down. The I formation slot left for the Lions. In motion goes Scott. Sims, trying to cut it outside, is pulled down with an ankle tackle by Osborne, the man who recovered the fumble on Sims' first carry earlier. There's Monty Clark, the Lions coach. Last week, his team beating New Orleans, but losing Keith Dorney in the process, the outstanding second-year tackle from Penn State. It is Mike Whitehead, a rookie from Pacific, 6'5", 255, number 74, a free agent this year, who has not yet had a start or indeed very much play at that position during the regular season. At right tackle. Gain of 2, second and 8. Sims met right at the line of scrimmage once more. And it was Dan Hampton shucking off the block of Whitehead and making the play. A gain of 2 for Billy Sims. It's 3rd and 5.
I think one of the keys to this game is the physical condition of Gary Danielson. He has a sore shoulder, sore ribs, he has a sore hand, and there's been some speculation as that he can't throw the ball too far downfield. However, in practice, he was throwing pretty well, but Gary Danielson has got to remain healthy for Detroit today. As you look at some of the scores, Cleveland 10-0 over Green Bay.
Lead, and Philadelphia and Dallas, a big one. We'll be keeping on top of that for you. Danielson's first pass, swings it out to Bussey, lots of room. Bussey first down, yardage, and then sack. Dexter Bussey to the 36-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Alan Ellis finally got him there, but Johnny, nobody picked up that running back out of the backfield.
No, they didn't. They had Gary Campbell, number 59, coming in on the blitz. Here he comes on the inside. He's picked up, and there's Bussey out there all by himself. There had to be a mistake there. Nobody should be that clear as Bussey comes back to the inside, picks up a couple of blocks. Alan Ellis, number 48, makes the tackle with Gary Fensick helping out, and Terry Schmidt. The Lions have a big play. Dexter Bussey.
A 30-yard gain, and they spotted at the Bears' 38-yard line. Sims. Billy Sims cuts it upfield off tackle right and gets all the way to the 26-yard line. Gary Muckensturm made the tackle there, and he has another Lions first down. Washington out in front of St. Louis, 16-0 in the second period. Miami leading Buffalo 7-0. The Dolphins trying to rebound, and Seattle out in front of the Jets 3-0 in the second period. It is first down Detroit here at Soldier Field. Dexter Bussey stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Mike Hartenstein, number 73, along with number 59, the linebacker Gary Campbell from the right side. And very little, if any, gain on the play. They mark it at the 26, so it'll be second and close to 10. New Orleans in front of Atlanta 7-0 in the first quarter. Archie Manning to Wes Chandler for the score. Slot formation left for the Lions. Danielson to throw. It's complete to Billy Sims. Dropped the ball, but after play was whistled dead. On the coverage, Gary Campbell, the linebacker, number 59. A pickup of about 5 yards for Sims on the pass play. Will bring up third and 5 to go.
What did that say? We like being a bear, not a lion.
We like being fair, I think.
Oh, not me.
Not today. Maybe in June. Third and 5, an extra defensive back in for the Chicago Bears in this passing situation. Leonard Thompson split left. Looked like Hartenstein was offside. Danielson for Leonard Thompson, complete. Hit hard at the 5-yard line. The ball is loose, and they rule incomplete. It looked like Thompson had the ball, took a tough hit from Fensick, and he could not hold on to the ball, but there was a flag down at the line of scrimmage where Hartenstein appeared to be offside.
The Bears were offsides. Whether they were drawn off will be decided by the officials, and the way they're facing illegal procedure against...
They called offside both ways. The referee is Gordon McCarter today.
Offside, middle man on defense. Offside, wide receiver on the offense. The penalty's nullified. Repeat third down.
Well, we didn't get numbers there. It looked to me like Hartenstein moved before Page did, but it might have been Page. There's 82 Page. And I think he probably pulled Mike Hartenstein with him. And then Leonard Thompson, seeing that movement, he started before the ball was snapped. So they were both offside, and they'll play it over again. Third and 5. Sims, draw play, still going to the 10-yard line, and a first down for the Lions. Ellis again on the tackle. So Payton and Sims, the duel we expected, and we're seeing it early.
Good play, good blocking. As you saw, Whitehead came over and made a nice block, and so did Tommy Ginn, and there was Sims, and he almost spun away from Alan Ellis. First down for the Lions. Let's take another look at it. You can watch Parker, Willie Parker, the center, came back and crushed the left side, the right side of the line, and then in came Sims, and he has the first down. The Lions still moving.
The Lions coming right back from the Bears score, threatening now from the 10. Dexter Bussey is pulled down by Hartenstein, slashing through from the right defensive end with a diving shoestring tackle. Bussey got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe lost a yard on the play. Well, they're going to give him a 2-yard loss. So it'll be second and goal from the 12.
Well, that changes the complexion of a drive. When you get that 2-yard loss, it puts Detroit into more of a passing situation. Anything can happen, but whenever you have to pass down there tight, inside the 10, things can go wrong with the offensive game plan.
Split left is Scott. In motion, the tight end, David Hill. Danielson steps up into the pocket and is sacked. At the 17-yard line, Tom Hicks, the middle linebacker, got him. Initial pressure from Hartenstein forced him up into the hit.
Danielson pressured by Hartenstein.
Gary Danielson back on the straight drop back. Here comes Hartenstein. He got to the outside, forced Danielson to move forward in the pocket, and Tom Hicks mopped it up. So the key was Hartenstein forcing the quarterback to adjust his position in the pocket, and then, of course, in came Hicks for the tackle. Big play now, third down long.
It's at the 18-yard line, third and goal, slot formation right. Danielson to the corner, incomplete. Diving try, Terry Schmidt on the coverage. It was Leonard Thompson, and apparently trapped the ball. He just couldn't quite keep it off the artificial turf. Let's see it again.
Very nice timing on this pattern. Terry Schmidt had him all the way, and as Thompson came back, the pass was just a little bit out of his reach. He actually got his hands on it, but could not maintain control. But good coverage by Terry Schmidt. The Lions will be forced to go for the field goal.
It'll be Eddie Murray attempting from the 25-yard line a 35-yard try. Wide to the right for Eddie Murray, who has hit 14 of 18 coming into the game today. So the Lions, with a very impressive drive, are stopped by that rugged Bears defense, and they come up scoreless. It is 7-0 Bears with 3:32 remaining first quarter. Tim Ryan and Following the missed Detroit field goal, first down, Bears at their own 20-yard line. They lead 7-0. Slot formation right. Harper the lead back in the eye. Payton up the middle, finds a hole. Payton over the 30 for a Bears first down to the 32-yard line. Dallas and Philadelphia are tied 10-10, 3:59 remaining in the first half. Tony Dorsett has left that game and is having x-rays for possible damage to his ribs. Van Teddy made the tackle for the Lions.
And the Bears still have not thrown a pass yet in this game, but the way Payton is running, the way the running game is going, we might not see too many, but it's throw sometime.
Payton up to the wing and now back to the I formation. Slot left. Harper, the lead back, got two. Was tripped up by Woodcock and finished off by Ray Oldham, the safety, playing up tight. It'll be second and about 8.5.
The Lions are going with their basic defense. They like the four-man front with the 3-4, and they'll sometimes come in with the fifth back. But basically, they've done well. The Lions defense has had a good season, and they're going with people down there at the front four and saying, you have to beat me. Not too much fancy, except a few little crisscrosses by the tackles in the ends.
They've given up only 89.5 yards a game rushing. That's the best in the league. Evans' first pass attempt got lots of time, but is now forced out as the coverage was good downfield. And he could not find an open man on that rollout. So he just stepped out at the 35, picked up maybe 2 yards on the run. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. Lions send in an extra back. Wayne Smith, the rookie from Purdue, number 44. Out goes the middle linebacker, Van Teddy. There's that Dallas-Philadelphia score. Big game in the NFC East. In the slot, now they move him back into the throw set. Got a lot of offensive looks from the Bears. Evans' first pass for the tight end Earl is incomplete. And Bubba Baker getting into a minor fracas there with
Ted Albrecht.
Ted Albrecht, yeah, the officials in to separate them quickly. So it'll bring up fourth down. I think Evans just overthrew him, or did Earl stop short? How did you see that one?
Earl stopped and then hooked back the other side. There was just a little bit of miscommunication, and Evans overthrew him in the middle.
All right, Bob Parsons with the punt from his own 20-yard line. John Arnold is the deep man for the Lions. Parsons just got it away, and he is knocked down, but he was... Well, we'll come back to that. Let's watch Arnold over the 40-yard line to the 41 of the Lions, forced out of bounds there. Parsons was knocked down, but the blocker was knocked into him. And so, as we see it again, you'll see the Bears knocking the Lion player into him. So no call on the play, and it's 7-0 Bears.
Sorry.
In Minnesota in another defensive struggle again this week. Cincinnati leading them 7-0 at the half. Miami in front of Buffalo at halftime, 14-0. The Jets leading Seattle 7-3. All right, first down for the Lions following the Chicago punt. They have it at their own 41. And that is Billy Sims squirting straight ahead behind the left guard and picking up 7 yards on the carry. And it was Tom Hicks along with Alan Page ranging back to make the tackle.
Good block by Carl Balderschwaller. He came through the hole and connected with Hicks, and that was enough for Sims to get himself 7 yards. Sims now has 33 yards and 6 carries.
It is 2nd and 3. Sims again. Inside that good block on the corner, has the first down yardage. Got a good block from Russ Bollinger, the pulling right guard, and that got him over the marker.
And you hit it right on the head. Watch number 73. He's got Bussey out in front too, but Russ Bollinger, number 73, throws a key block here, and so does Bussey. Kicks his man out. Fensick was kicked out and enabled Sims to go ahead and get the first down before Tom Hicks brought him down, and Jerry Muckenstern.
So it is first down Lions. The ball now at their own 47-yard line. under pressure. Deep sideline. Scott incomplete. Alan Ellis on the coverage, and Danielson took quite a pop down there, and that could be a factor. They really want to protect those sore ribs and sore shoulder for him.
Yes, Danielson could feel Dan Hampton bearing down on him. He got by Whited and was coming in, but Danielson stuck his ground through the pass, and good play over here by Alan Ellis.
And who was right in behind Hampton but Alan Page, who's already got 8 sacks this season. 2nd and 10. Motion behind the ball. Danielson with time.
Watch out.
Open is Jesse Thompson. First down, Lions at the Bears' 30-yard line. Alan Ellis made the tackle on Jesse Thompson. Came back off injured reserve a week ago, the second-year man from California.
And Billy Sims was wide open also, right down the middle. There wasn't anybody within 5 yards of him. So they had 2 men open on that play, and I think we might see it again before this series is over.
Leonard Thompson bringing the play in, number 39. Jesse Thompson goes out.
I think one thing the Lions do that the Bears don't do so well is they get Sims catching the ball in stride, whereas Peyton, when he catches his passes, he's out in the sidelines and he has to turn around, whereas Sims is catching the ball in stride and running.
We've completed play in the first period here at Soldier Field. The sun is out. The Bears lead it 7-0.
Ground control, there seems to be a weight variance of +3 pounds in the main cabin. Please confirm, over.
This is Space Station 12. Cannot confirm weight variance. Braking for chow now, over. Gentlemen, this is our steak. This is our salad. And this is our weight variance.
All right, Strohs. Captain, now I know why you're captain.
Gary Fensick dislocated his finger a few plays ago, but he's right back in there. Might have come on that real good hit on the pass intended for Leonard Thompson a few plays back in the first period. We are just underway now in period number 2 with the Lions first down at the 30-yard line of Chicago. New England and Baltimore are tied 7-7 in that big AFC game, still in the first period. All kinds of motion along the line of scrimmage. Flags are down. Danielson complete to Bussey. Takes a pop, still going. Gets his way back into the 22-yard line of the Chicago Bears, and now it'll depend on who the penalty was against. Meanwhile, Fensick getting up in a little pain again.
There is a flag on the field.
Quickly, some other scores. Washington 23, St. Louis nothing. Time running out in the first half there. Denver leading Kansas City 7-3 late in the first period there. Craig Morton to Rick Upchurch.
They're going to call offsides on both teams once again.
Kind of a rare circumstance. You usually give one or the other the penalty for being the first culprit, but we've had 2 of these rare double offsides. Here's Gordon McCarter.
Offside. Left end defense. Offside. The right end offense. The play nullifies. Still first down.
Well, that's Hampton for the Bears. I'm not sure whether it was Hill or the wide receiver.
Len Walterscheid has come in for Gary Fensick.
Fensick got up slowly after that last play. Still first down, Lions at the Bears 30. Danielson on the screen pass to Bussey. Another flag down. Bussey did not get a great deal. The Bears covered it well. A pickup of maybe 2.
There is a flag on
And Buckensturm over there to make the tackle for the Bears. Holding is the preliminary signal against the Lions. Fensick is back in the game. Walterscheid comes out for Chicago.
If there's one time that you shouldn't be caught for holding, that's when you're running a screen pass. A lineman should never hold on that type of a situation because you're supposed to let the men come through anyway. So why do you get called for holding? Boy, he's going to get an F on that grade.
I would say he's going to get some kidding from his teammates at the film meeting, too.
Number 81, offense. Repeat first down.
That's David Hill, and there's Monty Clark probably saying, how can you hold on a screen pass?
He might get kidded next week if the Lions win this game. If they lose the game, he won't get kidded.
All right, Bears lead at 7-0. We are just early into the second period here. Sunny skies now replacing the clouds. It's still cool and windy. Danielson up the middle quickly to David Hill. Hill trying to get around Muckensturm is forced out at the 30-yard line. And so they got back to the original line of scrimmage, a gain of about 10, as we see Walter Payton and Ian Sims having themselves quite a running duel today.
Walter Payton, who has rushed for over 7,000 yards, well over 7,000 yards in only 6 years in the NFL. I think he's 7th on the all-time list.
Yes, he is. In that first period, pretty close. Lions with 5 first downs to the Bears 4. Lions rushed for 38 yards, the Bears 43. Big difference in the passing. Detroit with 51 yards passing. Play action. Off to Bussey. Takes the tackle. That is closed down as he tried to get it upfield. And good defensive work by this tough Bears defense. Alan Page and Tom Hicks making the play. Hartenstein was the man who nearly dropped him for the loss.
Stopped by Page and Hicks.
It'll bring up 3rd down and 8 to go. He got 2 on the play when it was all over.
Gain of 2, 3rd.
The Bears bring out 3 linebackers and put in all of the defensive backs, and Al Harris comes in to join the rushers up front. Walter Scheid and Otis Wilson, a speedier linebacker, comes in. Danielson, complete. And first down yardage to Billy Sims. What a big play. On 3rd down, and it was Walter Scheid on the coverage. Perfect delivery. Danielson to Billy Sims.
Let's take a look at number 20 as he comes out of the backfield. Danielson just waits as Hartenstein was trying to get there, but he was too late. The pass came in. Sims made sure of the grab and was brought down by Len Walterscheid. First down, Lions.
Fine offensive play against the difficult defense in that pass coverage on 3rd down. First down, Lions driving. They're at the 18 of the Bears in the I formation. Billy Sims is met right at the line of scrimmage. The blocking stripped down on the left side of the Lions line. It was Tom Hicks at the bottom of the stack. Number 54, and Muckensturm right there with him, 58.
I'll say one thing. The Lions are having no trouble moving the ball. They have averaged 405 yards per game to be number 1, and we can see why. They've had a couple of good drives, but still no points.
Loss of 1.5 yards on that play. Brings up 2nd and 10.5. Billy Sims has picked up 38 already. Wide right is Scott. Danielson under pressure. Danielson for David Hill, and did he get it or trap it? It is going to be a complete pass at the 5-yard line. Some of the Bears fans think that ball hit the turf.
It kind of looked like that from here, Tim, but it's hard to say. As we look at the replay, they pick up the blitz. Danielson shows his quickness there. Throws it on the run. Here comes Hill. You really can't tell.
Can't tell from that angle.
You got to give him A for effort.
Yes, indeed. You also got to give him first down at the 5-yard line. That's what Gordon McCarter did. Danielson is 7 for 9 and 87 yards, playing with a sore shoulder, bruised ribs, and a hand that cramps up on him. That's his passing hand, but he has him first goal from the 5. He's going to throw. Oh, he had Sims wide open, and Danielson really unhappy at himself. The first bad pass he's thrown, he had pressure from Brad Shearer, who had come in defensively, number 72, but he really expected that. The play was perfectly set up. He just didn't get the ball to him.
Yes, and it's a real tough assignment unless Tom Hicks was covering up for another mistake. Number 54, the middle linebacker, had to cover Sims out of the backfield. That's a tough job anywhere on the field.
4 Bears come out of the defense. 2 linebackers, 2 down linemen. They've got Page, Osborne, Hartenstein, and Hampton up front. And a Lions timeout as Danielson wants to talk it over with Monty Clark in this critical situation here. 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. They trail with 11:44 remaining in the first half. The Bears 7, the Lions nothing.
I needed the mileage of a Toyota Cressida, but it didn't have enough room. What I needed was the room of a Volvo, but it didn't get good enough mileage. What I needed was a citation. What I didn't need was the price. What I needed was a miracle. What I found was a Fairmont.
Ford Fairmont. It makes a world of sense.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Ford and your local Ford dealer, who invite you to test drive the new 1981 Ford cars and trucks. And by Natural Light Beer, brewed with only natural ingredients.
Soldier Field in Chicago. The Detroit Lions in white are first and goal from the 5-yard line. Gary Danielson, number 16, the quarterback. Morris King is in at running back. Billy Sims has it. Trying to cut it back inside. It is dropped. But he got inside the 5, close to the 3. Ellis and Fensick, 48 and 45, making the tackle. Looked like he had room outside. Johnny, what do you think?
Well, there was no blocking because he was the outside, and the Bears just pursued over there very quickly. Alan Ellis turned him in, and you can see Otis Wilson and Gary Fensick, number 45, and there's Ellis, 48. And Sims had a good idea to get outside. It looked like there was going to be plenty of room, but the Bears were ready with quick pursuit.
Third down, goal from the 3. 6 defensive backs are in for the Bears. 6 down linemen, pardon me, for the Bears in this goal line situation. And Danielson to Sims, complete. A flag down in the end zone. Billy Sims, a diving catch for the touchdown, but will it count?
There was some collision between players there, and they may have called offensive pass interference against Detroit.
And that is indeed the call. The touchdown is wiped out. Danielson on it looked like the same play, the one that he came up short to Sims on just a few plays ago. This time he got it to him. Sims made a fine catch, but no go.
Okay, we'll take a look at Danielson. It's over to the left of your screen is where the penalty happened as Dan Hampton put the pressure on. Sims makes a really super catch here, but he may have pushed off, and so Detroit will be back at the 13-yard line.
Pass interference, number 39, offense. Repeat the down.
Leonard Thompson, out in the pattern, was the man who pushed off. Can't see it in this picture, but we see that fine catch. You just saw Thompson at the corner of your screen. So it is third down with the ball now out at the 14-yard line. Motion at the line of scrimmage, flags down. Danielson. And Thompson could not hold on. In the corner, Leonard Thompson dropped the ball. The flag was down, and it looked like it was a Bears offside.
I think it was. The Bears jumped offside, so they had a free play there, and Thompson almost came up with a spectacular catch, but it's very difficult because it came right over the top of his head, and those are the toughest to catch.
The preliminary signal offside against Chicago, so the Lions will get 5 of the 10 they lost back via the penalty route, and they are having a hard time getting into that end zone.
Offside, number 99, defense, still third down.
99 is Dan Hampton, the outstanding second-year defensive end from Arkansas.
Now, Danielson knew he had the free play once the play began because he saw them jump off sides, and here was the try.
We're back live now. Danielson under pressure is going to run it. Danielson is stopped at the 2-yard line, stretching out, trying to get it to the 1. Let's see where they mark it. It'll bring up 4th down, and they have spotted it at the 2-yard line. Bruce Herron, the extra linebacker, in, and the safety Fensick made the stop on Danielson. It was a good pass rush by the Bears that forced him up out of the pocket. And they are going to go for the field goal try. Eric Hipple is in to hold, the backup quarterback. Eddie Murray with the ball spotted at the 9-yard line. And he makes this one. So he's 1 for 2, a flag down again. And again, the apparent call will be against the Chicago Bears,
which could have a bearing on this.
It sure could. They were 4th and goal from the 2-yard line.
if it was an offside penalty, it could be a 4th and 1, and then they'd have a decision of whether they could fly for the 1 or still take the field goal.
Encroachment, number 68, defense. Contact was made before the ball was snapped. Therefore, there is no field goal. It's still 4th down.
All right. The encroachment call against the Bears, and the interesting thing there that the encroachment occurred before the snap of the ball, which wipes out the field goal attempt.
Let's take a look at number 68, Jim Osborne. There it is, right there.
So it is still 4th and 2. Or do they get the yard there? They should get the yard. Yes, they do. It'll be 4th and 1, which brings up the situation you described.
The encroachment foul was number 82 defense, not 68.
Taking it away from Osborne and giving it to Page.
We know it was a Chicago Bear anyway.
But it is 4th and goal from the 1, and the Lions elect to go for those 3 points. So it becomes an 18-yard try for Eddie Murray. The Chicago Bears given the second opportunity. Maybe that's what they had in mind, Johnny.
Well, there's something wrong with the rules there. It's a great play here by the Bears as they get through. It's usually Alan Page, number 82, who blocks it, but it looked like the entire Bear team. But a team that kicks a field goal shouldn't have a field goal taken away when the other team committed the penalty. There's something wrong there, but the Bears have the ball and lead 7-0.
In Chicago, a rather interesting circumstance there. And Johnny, the first penalty against the Bears occurred before the play got off. Therefore, that play didn't exist. That field goal is like it never happened. Now, Detroit, given the choice, having half the distance levied against the Bears, elected to go for the field goal again. So therefore, there can be no sympathy for the Lions. They took the yard. They elected to go for the field goal again, and they missed it. It was blocked by the Bears to recover. First down at their own 11. Peyton trying to get wide right, and is pulled down by good pursuit out there. Number 23, Ray Oldham. And the gain will be maybe 2 yards on the play. And with Wilder, he always figures an extra one after you call it that way, and indeed it is again. It's a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7, and there is Neil Armstrong, who's got to be so happy with that outstanding Bear defense that played so well all season long, despite the 2-4 record. It is 2nd and 7. Vince Evans thrown only 1 pass so far. And here's number 2. Well, there's not number 2. He is dropped right at the line of scrimmage by Al Bubba Baker, number 60, and John Mendenhall, 64. No gain. Quickly, some scores. New England leading Baltimore 10-7, 11:16 remaining in the first half. Kansas City and Denver, the Broncos lead 14-3 in the second period. New Orleans in front of Atlanta 14-7, and Miami now leads Buffalo 14-7 there. Joe Cribbs has scored for the Bills. Wilbert Montgomery, injured in the Philadelphia game, is out of that game with a knee injury. Philadelphia-Dallas game. Third down. 5 defensive backs are in for the Lions. 3rd and 7. Evans rolling. Way over everybody. Baschnagel. I don't know whether Baschnagel is complaining that he was held up down the sideline, but he seemed to stop running down there. And a pass way downfield beyond him. What do you think there, Johnny?
Well, he collided with Ray Oldham, but actually Oldham was standing his ground, and Bryan tried to react to the pass and then banged into him. It's pretty tough to call a penalty. I think the interesting note there was that we saw Vince Evans, number 8, rolling out there to give him some kind of a run-pass option because he's a great runner.
Parsons will have to punt on 4th down. A liner out to the 46-yard line. Arnold for the Lions, and a one-hand tackle on him by Robert Fisher, the rookie tight end, number 85. Just grabbed him by the shirt and spun him down at the 45-yard line. So the Lions will have the ball again at their own 45, and the Bears continue to lead 7-0 here in the second quarter. that is not the Mississippi. Indeed, it is chilly Lake Michigan, but a paddle wheeler is going by just behind Soldier Field here in Chicago. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, where the Lions have first down following a 39-yard punt by Bob Parsons of the Bears. Sims and Bussey, the running back. Reverse to Scott. He dropped the ball. Freddie Scott has to cover it up at the 30-yard line. Scott went 48 yards last week on a reverse. This time the fumble on the exchange between Sims and Scott, and a big loss. Back to the 30-yard line, a 15-yard loss.
That's what can happen on that kind of a play when you have two men who don't hand off that often. It can go for a big play for you, or it can bust you and put you in a real bad situation.
Jesse Thompson brought the play in on 2nd and 25 to go. The Jets now lead Seattle 14-3. Two Richard Todd touchdown passes for New York. Danielson under pressure. Almost intercepted by Gary Fensick. The pass intended for David Hill overthrown, and Fensick had the ball bounce right off his shoulder pass.
He just wasn't expecting the ball. The pass was thrown off of Hill, and all of a sudden the ball was in his hand, and Gary Danielson took a pretty good shot after he threw the ball that time as the Bears put the pressure on. Even though the Lions kept a lot of people in to block, you see Alan Page come in, and Dan Hampton hits him as he rolls there and kind of twists his knee underneath, and Gary came up kind of limping, but it looks like he's going to be okay as he
is limping now
up to the line of scrimmage.
He's already a battered quarterback. 3rd and long. Sideline for Freddie Scott, complete in midfield. Freddie Scott. And Gary Danielson comes right back after that, taking that big hit. He's going off right now because it'll be 4th down, but he made a big gainer up to the 50-yard line.
Wasn't that a super pass right on the dime?
It sure was. He came up 5 yards short of the first down yardage, but a big, important recovery for them territorially. Tom Spladany is in to punt. Lenny Walderscheid, first Lions punt. Spladany standing at his own 34. Walderscheid at the 10 for Chicago. Good kick. Spladany and Walderscheid bumped there by Wayne Smith, and the ball goes out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. It's going to be at the 14 of the Chicago Bears. So we have 7:07 remaining here in the first half. The Bears continue to lead it 7-0 over the Detroit Lions.
You don't have to be oil and filter to save yourself up to $10. Valvoline Motor Oil shows you exactly how quick and easy it is with step-by-step change instructions on the back of Valvoline cans. It's really quite simple. Once you get the hang of it, just see for yourself, then do for yourself. No wonder more and more drivers are changing their own oil and filters and changing to Valvoline. It's a smart way to save up to 10 bananas without a lot of monkeying around. Right, Val?
Philadelphia Dallas tied 10-10. Both Montgomery and Dorsett have been injured in that game. They're in the 3rd period. And Cleveland leading Green Bay 10-0 at the half. Cincinnati continues to hold a 7-0 lead they took early in that game over the Vikings. It is first down, Chicago Bears here at Soldier Field. They lead 7-0 over the Lions. The Lions atop the NFC Central. Vince Evans getting his first start. This is Peyton. Peyton cuts it back up and squirts for yardage over the 20 to the 21, where Bubba Baker finally pulls him down. A gain of 6 yards for Walter Payton. Washington commanding lead over the Cardinals. St. Louis got to be feeling some emotion today with a tragic accident involving Steve Little, former kicker, recently cut. 21-yard line of the Chicago Bears, 2nd and 3. I formation. Peyton is hit behind the line. Diving defensive play. Jimmy Allen finished him off. It was Purifoy who got in there to upset Peyton. Number 75, Dave Purifoy. No gain. Robert Fisher brings in the play and makes it a double tight end. Out comes James Scott for Chicago. Baltimore leading New England now 14-10. 4:34 remaining in the first half. Bert Jones to Don McCauley. Big game in the AFC East. 3rd and 3, Chicago. Rolling is Evans. Gets the ball off, and it's incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Fisher. And it looked like Gary Cobb, the extra linebacker, number 63, had a fairly good chance to intercept that ball.
There's a penalty down on the field, and they may call it for roughing the passer, which would give the Bears a first down instead of having to punt to Detroit. Evans just kept going and going to the sidelines and finally ran out of room, and indication there is that somebody gave him an elbow after he threw the ball.
There have been some key penalties stopping drives for the Lions, and now this one being marked off, but keeps the drive going for Chicago. So the Lions have been hurt by penalties a little more than the Bears have.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 57 defense, first down.
Ken Fantetti, number 57.
Well, he's an excitable type of player. As you see Evans go down out to the sidelines, he can't find anybody. Let's watch for number 57, because this is a key penalty. Right there, hit him in the face mask after he threw the ball.
So it's a first down for the Chicago Bears. With the ball, as we see, Evans has thrown only twice in this game, and before the game we were talking about the pass offense that Neil Armstrong said his team had to get. That's why he made the switch from Phipps to Evans, but Walter Payton, as usual, has been most of the offense for them thus far. But Detroit's had the ball more in this first half than the Bears have, which really is the story of that statistic.
I think so, Tim. And when you control the football, you keep it out of their hands, and they haven't been in many passing situations. And with only 5:44 left in the half, we may see the Bears start to throw the ball a little.
First down following the penalty against Detroit at the Bears 36. Wing formation. Evans has time. Complete. James Scott. First down into Lions territory at the 48-yard line.
Evans pass complete to Scott.
And Evans had that one on a rope.
And he got into it with Ken Fantetti, too. As you see, pretty good pass blocking. He just turns the hook in. You'll see 3 Detroit players all around him there, but Scott makes the grab. And there's Charlie Weaver for a ride. Everybody's in. And here comes Fantetti, 57. And James says, "What are you doing?" And he is an excitable player, very soft-spoken player, Fantetti, when he's not playing football. But he's playing football now.
It is first down, Bears. 48 of Chicago. They shift to the I-Hawk with the lead back. Tight end on the wing. Payton almost dropped for a loss behind the line by Woodcock, but worked his way to the 45-yard line where Ray Oldham pulled him down there, and he wound up with a gain of 3 yards on the play.
And look at the time of possession. As you mentioned, that tells the story of the game. 2-1 for Detroit over Chicago. However, the Bears lead the game. Isn't it amazing about Payton? He always gets that extra 2 or 3 yards. He squeezes and slithers one way or another.
It is amazing, and you just have to wait until they spot the ball to see exactly what the game was. 2nd and 8. Slot formation right. Scott wide left, quarterback draw. Evans pulled down at the 40-yard line short of the first down yardage. Fantetti made the tackle, number 57. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 3 to go.
That was a planned play. They want to take a little advantage of Vince's running ability, and the way the Lions sometimes have their tackles crisscross outside the defensive end, sometimes they create gaps in the middle of that line, and that's what the Bears were trying to take advantage of there, and they got a pretty good gain. Now they have a 3rd and 3 situation, approximately 3. Interesting call. In fact, Chicago wants to talk about it a little bit.
They sent in the extra tight end on this 3rd and short situation, but Vince Evans is coming over to confer with Neil Armstrong, offensive coordinator Ken Meyer upstairs. So we have a timeout on the field with 3:39 remaining in this first half. The Bears holding a 7-0 lead.
The cannon unforgettable. Good night.
Well, the Lions and Chicago have each used a timeout here with time winding down in this first half. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris. Sunny skies now as the wind is blown away to clouds. It's still chilly, but a brilliant day now here in Chicago. Big 3rd down play. Payton has the first down, still going. And Walter Payton on a big third down play delivers.
Out of the I formation, let's watch the line. Watch number 64, Ted Albrecht. He ties up Bubba Baker, and that was the key to that. As Fantetti, 57, misses the tackle, and Payton, with those high steps, just got himself down, then took the hit and also gave out a little punishment as the Bears are down almost to the 20-yard line. Great running by Walter Payton, some good blocking.
His favorite running mate, Roland Harper, also had a block on the corner there. It is first down. The Bears driving now at the 22. Straight ahead is Harper, and look at him, Bull. They haven't got him down yet. Roland Harper, talk about drawing some attention. There must have been 10 players involved. It looked like a rugby scrum. That Roland Harper stayed on his feet and got inside the 15 to the 14.
I kept expecting to hear the whistle, and I didn't hear it. Everybody just kept going. As you see, Noah Jackson hits Fantetti. There's the Mendenhall. Everybody's there stopping him. Let's watch Roland's legs. Are they still moving? They're moving. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Get in on the scrum. Everybody. Everybody.
Boy, Al Bubba Baker goes 6'6", 260 pounds. He was the first man to get a hold on him and was the first man that Harper started to push back. It is 2nd and 4. Payton, dancing over fallen blockers, gets to the 11-yard line. He'll be close to the first down, but I believe it'll be a little bit short. Harper doing the lead blocking. Stan White knocked out by Harper on the play, and they finally knock him down at about the 11. Let's see if they need a measurement here. It's going to be short, I believe, by about a yard, maybe a little less.
We have a touchdown scored by Green Bay. It's 13-7 now, Cleveland over Green Bay. As we have a break in the action here, the Bears lead 7-0.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, 3rd and 1 for the Chicago Bears. The ball at the 11-yard line of the Detroit Lions. We have 1:57 remaining first half. So far in the duel of the running backs, Payton, 11 carries, 73 yards. Billy Sims, 10 carries, 24 yards. So almost an equal number of opportunities. Payton is winning the duel thus far. Formation double tight end. Payton diving for the yardage and would appear to have it. Had to get almost to the 10. And he does. So the Bears are 1st and 10. The marker will probably be about 6 inches from the goal line. Let's see where they mark it. Right on the 10.
And there it is, the swan dive by Walter Payton. He can really get off the ground, just as Billy Sims did last week. Great running backs. We're having quite a duel, of which Payton is winning so far between the two great runners.
It's 1st and goal, Chicago. They lead 7-0. Payton straight ahead. Gets to the 6-yard line.
Payton, the ball carrier, stopped by Baker
and Woodcock combining to stop them there. They spot the ball right on the 7-yard line. Will bring up 2nd and goal from the 7. Bashnagel brings the play in, 1:15 and ticking. Watts comes out. 7-0 Bear lead. Remember at halftime, scores and highlights from the NFL Today show from New York. Brent Musburger, Herb Cross. Bring you up to date all the action around the league today. Pitch out. Payton inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. 49 seconds and counting. Mendenhall, number 64. Fantetti, number 57, on the tackle for the Lions. And remember, the Lions, despite all of their offense leading the league, has had an excellent season defensively. They are tough against the rush. Timeout is called by the Bears. Vince Evans over to talk with Neil Armstrong. 43 seconds remains, first half.
You know, sometimes statistics can be misleading. The Lions are #1 against the rush, but teams have only rushed against them 23% of the time. So when you take that into consideration, when teams pass against them, your rushing statistics are going to be a little better. And the Bears, I think, may have seen through that and figured that they could run on Detroit, and so far they are.
Well, next week, more exciting NFL action on CBS. The Rams at Atlanta. That should be a very interesting game. Two great defensive teams. Minnesota at Green Bay, critical in the NFC Central. New Orleans at Washington. St. Louis at Baltimore, and those Colts look like a real threat in the AFC East. Detroit at Kansas City. Chicago at Philadelphia. Big one for both clubs there again. And Tampa Bay at San Francisco. This afternoon, Miami now leads Buffalo 17-7. And the Jets still ahead of Seattle. It's now 14-10 for New York. And Denver leading Kansas City 14-6. And of course, you'll get completely updated and have a look at some of the highlights when we go to the NFL today at halftime.
Now the Bears have a third down situation, a very mobile quarterback. If it's not a pitch to Peyton, you got to figure that maybe they'll give Evans some kind of an option to pass or run.
Third down and goal from the 3. Double tight ends are in. Pitch out, Peyton. Peyton gets stopped short at the 1-yard line. Vantetti turned it in. At the bottom was the safety, Jimmy Allen. James Hunter was there, the cornerback, and they did just an excellent job defensively. Stan White, the corner linebacker on the right side. It's at the 1. 19 seconds and ticking as we see it again.
There it is. Peyton trying to find a place to turn up the field, but the Detroit defensive line moved down and with the flow of action and stopped him. So now we see 8 seconds. 7, they're going to go for the field goal rather than...
Well, they better hurry. They're going to call time is what they're going to do with 3 seconds on the clock. So the Bears take their final timeout with 3 seconds remaining.
Well, it's just a big question of whether they wanted to make sure that Detroit doesn't get the ball again. They have one play. It's a yard, a touch over a yard. Do you want to fly Peyton across and go for it, or do you want to take the field goal and go into the locker room with a 10-0 lead? This is a big decision. It could determine the outcome of the game when it comes down to the final minutes.
Well, Thomas was there on the sideline warming up his leg, but Evans is still talking to the coach. So if they had decided field goal, one would think they would be out there with the field goal unit. It looks like
they've decided the other way.
They're going to go with it, and the question is, what play do we go with? Thomas is keeping that leg limbered up just in case Armstrong changes his mind. And he did, evidently. They're going to try the field goal. And some of the crowd here doesn't like the decision. Bob Thomas. Successful season again, 8 of 10.
18-yard field goal.
We'll spot it at the 8 to make it an 18-yard try for Thomas. And it is good. So Bob Thomas from 18 yards away has given the Bears a 10-0 cushion at halftime. At the end of the first half, here at Soldier Field, the Chicago Bears 10, the Detroit Lions nothing.
Engineer Escort. The four-door Escort.
Switched. Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. The Green Bay Packers have just gone in again, kicked the extra point. They now lead the Cleveland Browns by a score of 14-13. How about Dallas and Philadelphia? Let's show you what has happened, and that's the key match of the day. They start off at 5-1, and oh, how close it has been. Ron Jaworski pressured here by Randy White. He'll cough the ball up, and Hegman, number 58, pounces on it, and the Cowboys lead it by 7. Now watch Jaworski go to Wilbert Montgomery's replacement, Billy Campfield. Irv, first, how is Montgomery, and what about Campfield as a replacement?
Montgomery has a strained knee, won't see action the rest of the day, but Campfield's excellent. Good speed and size, 205 pounds, probably the fastest guy on the squad.
Watch Jaworski buy time here. And big Harold Carmichael will work free, and this is the Eagles' lone touchdown. They're now deep into the third period. They are tied at 10, the Cowboys and the Eagles. There it is. The Packers lead Cleveland 14-13. They played a marvelous game. They turned in a tremendous goal line stand at the end of the half. Washington all over St. Louis, and the Bears know why this is happening, particularly their fans. Do you remember when Chicago jumped all over St. Louis the last Sunday of the season? It cost Washington a chance to go to the playoffs. Today it's get even time. 23-0 Redskins all the way. Cincinnati now leading Minnesota by 2 touchdowns. This is a big one as far as the Bears and the Lions are concerned. They need the Vikes to lose. The Jets lead Seattle 14-10, but the Seahawks have blocked a punt, and Sam McCullum took it in for a touchdown. It was a 53-yard punt recovery, and Todd has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Miami over Buffalo 17-7. Joe Cribbs has scored again, the rookie sensation of the Bills from 2 yards out. There's the game that you're watching. 10-0, the Bears over the Lions at the half. New England and Baltimore in a key showdown. The Colts lead at 14-10 at the half. Yes, Burt Jones has a touchdown pass, 4 yards to McCauley. Grogan, 37-yard to Harold Jackson. New Orleans now leading Atlanta 14-13. Manning, 2 touchdown passes, 18 to Chandler and 15 to Galbraith for the Saints points. Kansas City trailing Denver by a point, 14-13. Craig Morton has thrown 2 touchdown passes in that game, 14 and 6 yards. Let's show you some of that action from the Green Bay-Cleveland game. And it now appears that the Packers were a vastly underrated football team as the season began. They needed some healthy players, as Jimmy the Greek would say. Now watch Dave Logan concentrate for the Browns. Duel with the loose ball. And the defensive back of the Packers comes up at the last moment. He got a hand on it and knocked it away. But Brian Sipe came right on back for the Browns. And he'll go to number 33, Reggie Rucker, working right here in the middle of the field. And it is down to the Packer goal line. Mike Pruitt banged in for the Browns touchdown, and the Packers were able to come back. What about Lynn Dickey, the Packer?
You know, of course, he made a late in the second quarter, rolled outside, ran up in the middle for a touchdown for the Packers. You know, he's a good runner, handles offense very well, but you know, their biggest problem still is the kicking game. But Bernie seems to be doing well there for him.
Exactly. How about Minnesota and Cincinnati? Do we have anything on that action? Kenny Anderson and Isaac Curtis are hooking up. They're back together. The Vikes have been unable to get on track, and here it is, Irv. Anderson to Curtis for 40.
Anytime you want to go deep in Cincinnati, you go to this guy. Isaac Curtis has great range.
And from there, Pete Johnson banged across from 2 yards out. Now, let's show you some of the action from St. Louis and Washington. And here he is, Joe Theismann to Don Warren for 31.
The Theismann's a spotty kind of passer. You know, when he gets hot, he really goes on the streets. The first half, he had 199 yards passing today.
What a day Clarence Harmon is having, Irv.
Pretty good back.
That's his first touchdown. Now they go to Ricky Thompson. Nothing wrong with the Redskins' passing game.
But the Redskins needed a runner. Bring back John Riggins, eh?
But watch this run by Clarence Harmon. And a good block by Wilbur Jackson. Simple off-tackle play, and Harmon is in, and it has been all Redskins. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations. Back in New York, and as you know, we are still a week away from the halfway point of the NFL regular season. But for the league's rookies, well, their bodies and their minds have to be telling them this must be postseason play, because in high school and college, most of them probably played 10-game seasons. And with 4 preseason games, they've already passed that point on the NFL calendar. And as Irv learned, checking out the rookies' report cards, they won't really know if they receive passing grades for 3 years.
Almost everyone agrees that number 20, Billy Sims of the Lions, has been the top performer of this year's rookie crop. But what about some of the other first-year players? New York Jets wide receiver Lam Jones, number 80, has found the early going a bit rough. But there have been others like Bills running back Joe Cribbs, number 20, who ranks high in AFC rushing and receiving. The people who are responsible for selecting such athletes are the members of the player personnel departments of all 28 NFL teams. Throughout the year, they compile data, analyze, and evaluate college talent.
Herman has played tough competition in the Big Ten, as Camel has also in the Coastal League there.
He has been in a pro set type of an offense all his life.
I visited the Eagles and their personnel chief, Carl Peterson, to get his views on the class of 1980.
Let's talk about some of the rookies who've done well in the league this year. Let's start with Earl Cooper.
Earl, I think, went to the right team in San Francisco and Bill Walsh. He catches the ball so well out of the backfield, and in their offense, they throw so much to their backs. And he's really fit in well in their program, and I know he's been very, very productive, and they're very happy with him at the 49ers.
Anthony Munoz, so what's your feeling about him as a rookie?
Anthony is a player that came out of college and stepped right into a starting position with Cincinnati. And the only question that any of us had were his injuries in college. And I think so far that he's sound, and he's going to be a great football player.
Which teams would you say were the most successful in this year's draft?
Well, I think for immediate help in the AFC, Buffalo has done a fine job. And in the NFC, Atlanta's had a very good draft. Junior Miller, their great tight end out of Nebraska, their first-round pick, he's making a very, very significant contribution to a very good pass offense. Another player is Buddy Curry, their second-round pick out of North Carolina. The Falcons run a very linebacker-oriented defense, and he stepped in and really picked up the slack, and I know that Lehman Bennett down there is very, very pleased with him. You evaluate the drafts, actually, though, I think about 3 years from now. And if those guys are still playing and they're making a valuable contribution to your football team, you can say you had a good draft. But for immediate help for the 1980 season, I think those teams have done very well.
Irv, how far can they go with a prospect before they draft them?
You know, in the old days, you couldn't bring a guy in and take a look at him prior to the draft. Today, they can bring him in, give him a complete physical, get a chance to know him pretty well prior to the draft, so they know what kind of goods they're getting when they go into the draft.
Yeah, eliminating the hit and miss, aren't they, in that draft? All right. Now let's send you back to the stadium and the game you're enjoying on CBS.
The Chicago Bears lead the Detroit Lions 10-0 at halftime at Soldier Field, where it is sunny and beautiful blue skies and temperatures about 30 below, it feels like, anyway.
Sure does.
It's mighty cold in the Windy City, and the story of this game was supposed to be, offensively for the Bears at least, that Vince Evans was to provide the passing offense. What are the numbers?
Well, he has thrown 3 passes, Tim, 1 for 3. Of course, the running game has gone very well with Walter Payton gaining 82 yards, and Billy Sims only has 24 for Detroit. The Lions actually have had the ball a lot more, but the Bears got 10 points.
Well, of course, the big play for the Lions getting in there, making a field goal that could have cut the margin at that point to 7-3. Instead, with the penalty against the Bears, taking it to 4th and 1, they wind up having their next field goal try blocked. And are you going to make it, Johnny? You are really shivering.
Well, the excitement of the game will keep me from getting cold.
Okay, well, we'll be back for the second half here at Soldier Field in just a moment.
The preceding message was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new 1981 Oldsmobile Delta 88, the family car that didn't forget the family. Hager slacks and separates that make you feel as good as you look. And by Federal Express, when you have a package that absolutely, positively has to be there overnight, Federal Express.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris here in Chicago. There are the halftime statistics. And the Bears holding the 10-0 lead. The Lions kick off. The Bears to our right. Dave Williams picks it up at the 10. Williams running hard over the 25 to the 26-yard line. He's pulled down there by Gary Cobb, the reserve linebacker, number 63. And it'll be first down for the Bears at their own 26 starting this second half.
We should make an adjustment here. Sims is 10 for 39, not 24, because they have decided that reverse that they tried was an aborted play rather than a loss for Billy Sims. So he is 10 for 39, while Payton is 15 for 83.
Slot formation left for Chicago. Vince Evans is the quarterback. He started the game for the first time since September of 1979. Has thrown only 3 passes. And Roland Harper takes it straight ahead for 5. Bubba Baker made the stop on him. And as Johnny pointed out, the fact that Detroit had the ball for much of the first half and the fact that the Bears have rushed so effectively has kept what was supposed to be the new passing offense by Evans to, so far, a minimum. 1 out of 3 in the first half. The play comes in with Ricky Watts, number 80. He comes to the slot left with Scott, 89, wide left. Second and a little more than 5. Pitch out, Payton. Good hit on the corner, slowed him up. That was Jimmy Allen, and then he was forced out by Fantetti, the middle linebacker, ranging over to pick him up. And there is the time of possession. The Lions 14-58 in that first half, much of it in the first period. And then Chicago taking over in the second period, winding up with a slight edge. The ball at the 30-yard line. It is third down. Fantetti goes out. Extra defensive back is in. Baschnagel and Watts and Scott. 3 wide receivers are in for the Chicago Bears on the passing down. Evans with time. Evans deep for Scott. Complete. Scott pulled out of bounds at the 11-yard line by Jimmy Allen. And the Lions gambled on that play, freeing up James Scott.
The extra man was Wayne Smith, number 44. You'll see him come over, go for the interception. The ball was up there. Smith went for the interception, tried to bat the ball away. Scott maintained his eyes on the ball, grabbed it. He's carrying it rather loosely, but he got down there, finally knocked out of bounds by number 40, Jimmy Allen. The Bears have a chance to increase the lead. James Scott.
59-yard gain and a first down at the 11 of the Detroit Lions. Slot formation right. Baschnagel in the slot. Scott wide right. Harper and Payton in the I formation. Payton cutting it back up the middle. Gets loose inside the 5 to the 4. Fantetti pulls him down there with help from James Hunter. Payton broke a couple of tackles to pick up a couple of more yards.
Good block by Reeve Sorey as he takes Woodcock out of there, and you just can't bring Walter Payton down with one hand or one arm or 2 men. You got to get 2 or 3 to bring him down as he squeaked a few more yards.
Robert Fisher brought the play in. Second down, 3 to go. The ball at the 4-yard line of the Lions. Double tight ends are in, Earl and Fisher. Make it Harper. Roland Harper, pardon me, 35. Roland Harper, and the happiest man out there will be Walter Payton, seeing Harper as pal and blocker gets the score.
There's Roland Harper as Payton comes out to throw his key block, and Harper had his eyes open. He cut back against the grain, turned it up the field, and then just drove and took the flying leap, and he carried Fantetti with him as he goes in for the touchdown. The Bears lead 16-zip.
Kicks it through. The Chicago Bears jump out early as we see that play again. And there is Roland Harper, takes the hit from Fantetti and dives for the touchdown. 13-11 remaining, third period, 17-0. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, the Bears scoring on the opening drive of the first half to take a 17-0 lead. Thomas kicks it off. Callicut from the 5 of Detroit, number 31. Callicut to the 28, pulled down by Jonathan Hoke, number 47, reserve defensive back, and Ron Rideouch, number 76, reserve defensive tackle. The Lions came into this game with the lowest average against the rush in the NFL, 89.5. The Bears rolled up 100 yards, 10 over that average in the first half alone, and that has certainly been the key to this ball game thus far. Gary Danielson brings out the Lions on first down. Danielson complete to Dexter Bussey. Bussey close to the first down yardage. And it was Jerry Muckenstern finally putting the stop on him. And it is going to be a first down for the Detroit Lions as Danielson moves them quickly on first down. New England leading Baltimore 17-14, a seesaw battle in that all-important AFC East contest. Steve Grogan touchdown pass. And the Patriots in front. Loose ball, Danielson. Looks like the Lions got it back, but let's wait and see. Yes, it is. Lions ball. Danielson fumbling the exchange.
Loss of 2, second and 12 at the 37.
Billy Sims, I believe, was the intended ball carrier on the play. Well, Sims recovered the ball. He dove on it after Danielson dropped it.
As you can see, the Lions have made some changes in there. Willie Parker's in there, and Ginn is in there at the guard, and Parker at center. Amos Fowler's not been able to play because of that knee situation.
Amos Fowler out at center, and Parker and Ginn have gone most of the way. Homer Elias also hurt. They're hurting along that offensive line. Danielson complete to the tight end, Hill. Hill, coming off the 2-yard loss on Danielson's fumble, gets back about 7 yards. Campbell and Hicks.
Campbell and
Buckensturm, all the linebackers getting in on it, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
3rd and 5 at the 44.
Walter Scheid comes in, Otis Wilson comes in, Al Harris comes in as an extra rusher, number 90 for the Bears.
The Bears like to have 5 defensive linemen in there because they feel they can't be doubled as well. It forces them to go man for man on that up in front.
Eddie Scott wide left, Jesse Thompson wide right, Danielson under pressure, and it is complete. Billy Sims, another diving grab in front of Lenny Walterscheid, gets the 1st down.
I can't believe, every time I read the statistic that he never caught a pass in college, it just amazes me that he could go through a college career and a team couldn't take, I know Oklahoma's type offense, but that they couldn't take advantage of his ability to catch a football.
Looking back at that first half, Johnny, 133 yards for Detroit, 116 for the Bears, and yet the Bears came out of it with a 10-0 lead. We've discussed the circumstances of that. It's got to be frustrating for the Lions. They move the ball, or moving it now. Danielson. Incomplete. Allen Ellis on the coverage against Freddie Scott. Good rush from Dan Hampton, and remember, he's working against the rookie Mike Whitehead, free agent out of Pacific, number 74.
Let's watch number 99 on number 74. Just use that kind of the hand slap Hampton did to get around to the inside. Usually a defensive end will go to the outside. He got by Whitehead and put the pressure on Danielson, and those kind of hits eventually take their toll on a quarterback.
2nd and 10 at the Bears' 48-yard line. In motion, David Hill behind the ball. Danielson just gets it away, incomplete, trying to go way downfield to Jesse Thompson, and again it was Hampton with a heavy rush.
Yes, that time he did a little twist to the inside, just spun around and spun himself right into Danielson. Whitehead is getting an education, and it's a tough job. He hasn't been playing that much, and he's having to fill in. As you look at Dallas and Philadelphia, 10-10 in the 4th quarter.
Green Bay's gone in front of Cleveland, 14-13. Cincinnati clinging to that 7-0 lead they had back in the first period. Miami has opened it to 17-7 over Buffalo. Keith Dorney, the second-year man from Penn State. Monty Clark said he'd be missed. Mike Whitehead doing a pretty good job. A lot of trouble from Dan Hampton. Danielson, and incomplete. In and out of the hands of the tight end, David Hill. And he is an unhappy man. The ball was there. Jets lead Seattle 17-10 in the 4th quarter. 4th down. Look at this. New Orleans in front of Atlanta, the struggling Saints.
4th and 10 at the 47.
Willie Parker is being helped off the field. Their center, number 62. Remember, he started for Amos Fowler, who has been playing with a broken, fractured fibula in his left leg, and so they've now got 2 injured centers. Whitehead is the long snapper. He is in there now. Denver leading Kansas City by a point now as the Chiefs have gotten back into that game. 4th down, Sledany to punt. Matt Suey, Lenny Walterscheid at the 10-yard line of the Bears. Good kick by Sledany, and will go out of bounds, and they'll mark it at the 13-yard line of Chicago. Fine kick by Sledany. And so the Bears will have the ball again when we return. 9:54 remaining, 3rd period. They lead it 17-0.
When some people send a package by Federal Express for the first time, they never expect it to work. They're so used to getting chewed out for not getting a package there the next day, they expect it to happen with Federal, too. So they wait. And they wait. And they wait. And they wait. For the complaint that never comes. Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
How does one become a member of the U.S. ski team? First, you have to be great on hills. Then you need the endurance to overcome tough obstacles.
Well, the Seahawks have climbed back and gone ahead of the Jets 20-17 in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, Green Bay has opened a 21-13 lead over Cleveland.
If the Packers win, Minnesota loses, Green Bay would move into second place in the NFC Central Division.
Bears first down, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. All-important game here against Detroit. A 17-0 lead. Payton off tackle left. Stan White pulls him down. Gain of 4 for Walter Payton. We'll bring up 2nd and 6. There's a look at that Central Division picture, and you can see Detroit at 5-1 with a good lead right now, but those things have a way of disappearing. Minnesota currently losing to Cincinnati. They'd fall to 3-4, and as Johnny pointed out, a Green Bay victory would make them 3-1 with that tie. And the Bears could move back into it at 3-4. So it looks like the kind of a race that's going to go all the way, especially with the Lions' injuries. If they become a factor, losing a man like Keith Dorney, obviously, and they've got Elias and Fowler both hurt. Payton. That Lions defense continues to play well, and it's Fantetti making the stop right near the line of scrimmage. He got maybe a yard on the play. Well, it'll be more like 2, as usually is the case with Payton. Brings up 3rd and 4, a 3-yard gain. Charlie Weaver in on it as well.
The Lions will be tested today. They have shown a propensity to score a lot of points in the fourth quarter. They have outscored their opponents 84-10 so far this year in the fourth quarter. As you look at Bubba Baker, who is slightly injured too, has a sore hip. He is supposed to come back into the game.
3rd down and 4. Vince Evans, flag down. He has the first down yardage. And the quarterback sneak out to the 31, but let's see what the flag is. Woodcock made the tackle.
There may be some holding in the middle of that Bear offensive line on that play. The flag went down around Reeve Story, who was blocking on Fantetti. We'll have to see what the call is.
William Gay has been in there at the right defensive end for Baker. William Gay, 3rd-year man from USC, number 79. Word on Willie Parker is a bruised knee. They're not sure whether he's going to be able to continue. They had tried Amos Fowler on the pregame warm-ups, and he wasn't ready to go. The Lions hurting along that offensive line. Here's the penalty against Chicago holding.
Number 65, offense. Repeat, 3rd down.
Well, he called it on Noah Jackson, 65 to the left of your screen right there. He's calling the holding penalty as Evans came back across the block by Noah Jackson, which was an illegal block.
21-20. Cleveland closing it to within a point against the Pack. 3rd down and 14 here in Chicago. Bears in front 17-0, but backed up in their own end. Quarterback draw again. Evans gets out of there, but short of the first down yardage by considerable. Got out to the 18 before he was stopped, but the Bears will have to punt. What a ball game New England and Baltimore have going here. The Patriots 24-21 over Baltimore, Denver and Kansas City. There's that New England score. The 98-yard kickoff return by Horace Ivory for New England put them ahead of Baltimore. Here's the punt from Parsons, taken by Arnold. Arnold, good return over midfield to Chicago's 48-yard line. 42-yard punt, a 12-yard return for John Arnold. 7:40 remaining in the 3rd period. With the score, Chicago 17, the Lions nothing. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris at Soldier Field, where the Lions have first down at the Bears' 48. Monty Clark hoping to see some offense, put the ball in the end zone.
All the Bear linebackers are inside the defensive ends. See the three, like a stacked defense for the linebackers.
Bussey and Sims, the running backs, and this is Billy Sims. Pulled down by Gary Campbell, number 59, coming in from the right linebacker spot. Got maybe a yard at most. Look at this, Philadelphia and Dallas, just like New England and Baltimore, a seesaw battle. Eagles 17, the Cowboys 10 in the fourth period. Ron Jaworski passing to Charlie Smith for the go-ahead score.
Both teams were 5-1 in the Eastern Division going into that contest, so that's a big one.
Al Harris comes in to add some rush up front for the Bears. Walter Scheid and Otis Wilson are in the 2nd and 9. Bears expect pass. Slot formation right for the Lions. Loose ball again. Danielson dives on his own fumble. Now the problem here is that Tommy Ginn is back in at center, the rookie from Arkansas, with Willie Parker having gone out with an injury. Homer Elias, playing hurt, is in at left guard where Ginn was playing, and so Danielson has had to deal with two different centers, Parker and Ginn, and of course the man he's used to, Amos Fowler, was unable to start today, and he was working with him in the warm-up. So quite a handicap for the quarterback, Johnny.
Yes, it is, and when you're down 17 points, it becomes even more of a handicap.
There are the numbers on Danielson. He's been doing the job today. 3rd and 11. Can't get it in the end zone. Dan Hampton pulling down Billy Sims right at the line of scrimmage, got a hold of that jersey and pulled him back. They'll give him about a yard and a half on the play, but it'll be 4th down. So with the fumble and with the Bears' tenacious defense, again, the Lions are stalled.
The Bears had a shutout against Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago. Minnesota did score 13 points, but it was a tough 13 points set up a lot by the Bear offense, and now they have a shutout going, so that defense of Chicago is really coming on.
Ladaney standing at his 40. Kick is from the 44. Another fine punt by Ladaney, and it's into the end zone. Took a Bears bounce, or did it? Are they still talking about it? It's either out at the 1 or into the end zone for a touchback. 5:39 to go, third quarter, 17-0 Bears. Well, Ladaney's punt did take a Bear bounce into the end zone, but after it had landed right on the sideline at the 1-yard line. So that is where the Bears will have to start from. The ball at the 1. Tom Ladaney, a 44-yarder, perfectly angled out of bounds. Straight ahead is Roland Harper. And again, drawing lots of attention and picking up close to 5 yards. Trying to give the Bears some breathing room. There is Gary Danielson.
He's had some problems with the hand. He says sometimes when after he throws, the hand will stick down the fingers, and he has to kind of force them open. But
2nd and 6
he's playing a gutsy game. He is banged up. He has some padding on his ribs. He has a sore shoulder.
One final is in. Cincinnati has defeated Minnesota 14-0. So the Vikings fall to 3-4 in the NFC Central. 2nd and 5 for the Bears. Harper again. What a pile-up in there. He got a couple. Roland Harper, and it looks like that knee that ruined his season a year ago is just holding up fine, thank you.
He ended up with almost 4 out of that just by squirming and squeezing and following after his partner, Walter Payton.
There's that Cincinnati final. Meanwhile, Atlanta now back in front of New Orleans, 20-14. Indeed, it's the first time they've been ahead of New Orleans today. And Seattle has gone in front of the Jets, 27-17 in the fourth quarter. A rally by the Seahawks. 3rd and about a yard and a half. And that is Harper again. 3 straight carries by Roland Harper. Did he get there? I don't believe so, but it'll be close.
It looks like he might have gotten it as far as I can see,
well,
because they just
progress.
pushed the right side of that defensive line back.
Yep.
Good power football.
Sure was, and he did get it. Monty Clark not happy with that development. The fine punt by Splitani to the 1-yard line of the Bears, but on 3 consecutive runs by that man from Louisiana Tech, they marched it out to the 13 and a first down. Robert Fisher comes out, having been the extra blocker in the 3rd and short at tight end. Robin Earl is set on the wing. They're in the eye. Walter Payton is hit behind the line of scrimmage by William Gay, still in there for Bubba Baker. Stan White in on it as well. There'll be a loss on the play.
And they're working on Amos Fowler. They're trying some way. Maybe they think there's possible that he may have to go in, but you can see the padding behind the leg.
Like a splint almost.
Yes.
That's what it amounts to. He's got a fractured fibula. 2nd and 14. Payton. Oh, what a good defensive play. The hole was there, and then it wasn't. And it was Van Teddy closing it up, number 57, the second-year man from Wyoming. Number 2 pick a year ago, and he just gets better and better, according to Monty Clark, and very happy with his development. 3rd down and 13 from the 10-yard line. Watts brings the play in for the Bears. There's the 3rd down conversion number at the moment.
And this will be an interesting call. The Bears have a passing situation, but they're on their own 10. Let's see how Neil Armstrong decides to go with it.
2 tight ends are in, Earl and Fisher. 1 wide receiver. Pitch out to Payton. Payton is hit hard and stopped right there at the 11-yard line. And again, it was Van Teddy and Charlie Weaver getting in on it. So the Lions did an outstanding job defensively on that series, and Chicago will have to punt. Billy Sims waiting to go in and try and get some offense going here for the Lions. He moved the ball well if he missed the first half, but had no points. High snap, and Parsons just got it away. And he is knocked down by Gary Cobb, and there will be a penalty on the play. The punt taken by the Lions to the Bears 41, John Arnold. But the penalty will go against the Lions for contacting the kicker. Another unfortunate penalty against Detroit, and they have had now 3 of those crucial penalties in crucial situations.
Well, it all boils down to the angle that the punt blocker takes. He's got to go across in front of the kicker to block that punt so that if he misses, he doesn't run into the kicker. But that time it didn't work out, and the Bears have the ball. Tough break for Detroit.
Personal foul, running into the kicker, number 63, defense, automatic first down.
Now, if he had been hit by Skabinski there, who almost got a block on him, then they couldn't have called the penalty.
Exactly right.
He got in there slick and clean, and so they did call a penalty. Unfortunately for Detroit, the official didn't see that 2 Chicago Bears were still on the field, going off the field on that play.
There's a final score. Seattle over the Jets, who had led that game early. Indeed, led it into the 4th quarter. But the Seahawks pulled it out. Payton on first down. Good defensive play again by the Lions. Stan White, a veteran acquired in a trade from Baltimore, dropping Payton for a loss. And some of the Boo Birds saying, hey, why do you keep running that play to Payton?
Well, I think they're saying, let's try something else. Let's throw the... Let's block for him. Let's throw the football once in a while. Of course, Neil Armstrong's trying to sit on a 17-0 lead and win the football game, but not very often you see a pro football team. How many passes have they thrown? 4?
That's right. 2nd and 15. Baschnagel comes out. Scott and Watts are the wide receivers. On the play will bring up 3rd and long.
3rd and very long. I guarantee you, if the Bears run the ball this time, this stadium is going up for grabs.
Well, time winding down in the 3rd period. That's one thing the Bears are doing, is using up that clock. 10 seconds remain here in this 3rd quarter, and I think they're just going to be content. Evans is strolling over here. They just want the clock to wind down. change ends and hold on to that lead.
Report to Gate 1 security office.
And that's it. And so, at the end of 3/4 of play, the Bears continue to lead the Lions 17-0. Well, one of the Honey Bears got a way to keep warm here out in that sunshine, just keep it all moving. The Chicago Bears, Mike Phipps must be sitting there saying, well, heck, I could be 2 out of 4 right now.
I could be handing off like that.
That's what Vince Evans is through 3/4 of play. He replaced Phipps as the starter this week, and they were looking for pass offense. Well, the run offense has been going well. 137 yards rushing. The Lions, meanwhile, have had only 49 yards on the ground, but they passed for 134 to the Bears' 76. Evans will throw now on 3rd down. Lots of time. Deep for Watts. Incomplete. The ball in and out of the hands of Watts. He was disturbed by Ray Oldham's coverage. And did Jimmy Allen come up with it? Yes, he did. Jimmy Allen came up with the ball before it hit the ground. A Detroit interception.
At first, it looked like it was going to be intercepted right off. As you can see, Oldham will time it perfectly, jumps up, and it will come out of his hands into Ricky Watts' hands. There's the thing. There's Watts has got it. No, I haven't got it. And here comes Allen very alertly, makes the grab. It's bobbled again.
Unbelievable.
And he caught it. He caught it.
Unbelievable. Well, if they had punted it 53 yards, it would come out about the same, but I don't think they're too happy about that circumstance because it also could have been a reception to Ricky Watts. But it is 1st down Lions on a fine play by Jimmy Allen. Slot formation left. Danielson wants to throw on 1st down. Sideline. Scott complete. And a 1st down. Is he out of bounds? The Bears say yes. The officials say no. He was inbounds. A 1st down at Chicago's 49-yard line. Here's that play again.
Oh, it's an unbelievable play. Oldham had it timed. He had it in his hands. Now let's see how many times it bobbles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Down he goes, and he's on the ground when the ball comes down to him. Allen is, and there's the receptions.
How about that? Jimmy Allen's 3rd interception of the season, tying with Oldham in that department for the Lions. Danielson complete to Jesse Thompson. Another 1st down for Detroit. At the 31-yard line, will they have been sparked by Jimmy Allen's sensational interception. 2 completions have them now in threatening position at the Bears' 31. Final score, Philadelphia over the Cowboys, 17-10, so they take 1st place in the NFC East. New England has added a field goal and now leads Baltimore 27-21, but they're still in the 3rd period of the big game in the AFC East. 1st down Lions here at Soldier Field. In motion, Freddie Scott. Danielson out to Bussey. Good coverage by the Bears. Good running by Bussey, but he will get only a yard or 2 on the play. The Bears were ready. Muckensturm came right up on the receiver, Dexter Bussey. Gary Campbell made the tackle along with Hartenstein. Loss of a yard on the play, 2nd and 11. Danielson's numbers are impressive, but there is nothing on the scoreboard to reflect them.
Well, those 2 big drives in the first half where they got down there and didn't get any points, they're suffering from that, and they will the rest of the ball game.
There is our score here. Billy Sims makes the turn. Billy Sims knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line, make it the 22. Doug Plank put the hit on him out of bounds, but Sims with a good gain of about 10 yards on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and a yard to go for the 1st down. Bears had their pass rush defense in there. Harris had come in, and the extra defensive back. Lions crossed him up with a run.
This is a big play. The obvious call is something to get yourself to 1 yard. The Bears will really be playing the run. A gutsy call would be to throw off the play action here, even when you're down 17-0.
High formation. They go with Sims, and I don't know if he made it. It'll be close. Loose ball, but after the whistle had blown, Hartenstein came up with it. And it's totally dependent on how they mark this one. With that pile up in the middle of the line, they could well come up with a first down on it. Lions trying to desperately get something on the board. If they can score on this drive, they have ample time left to get back into this football game.
I'm pretty sure he has the first down.
They marked it right at the 21, and they have called for a measurement.
The reason I mentioned that 3rd and 1 call is that they now will have to take some time, more time to drive down to get this touchdown, and will eat up a lot of the clock because there's only 12 minutes and 56 seconds left. On a 3rd and 1 situation right there, the odds for completing a pass would have been very, very good.
They got the first down. Well, if they could score here like in 2 plays or something like that, Johnny, then I think, you know, they've got enough time left at 17-7. That's a lot of time, but I agree with you. If they wind up having to grind it out here and use up a couple of more minutes, then they may have put themselves in the hole or enlarged the hole they're already in. Freddie Scott in the slot left. Wide left is Jesse Thompson. They're going to throw on first down. Hanging it up for Freddie Scott. Out of bounds. Out of bounds. Danielson. The rush was on a blitzing linebacker, Campbell, but really he had time to throw the pass he wanted. He just threw that one offline.
That's right. If he had straightened it up down the field into the end zone more, it would have been a touchdown because Scott had a couple of steps there.
Well, the game is just about over at Cleveland, and the Browns are leading 26-21 over Green Bay. The game very much affecting things in the NFC Central. And there's that New England-Baltimore score. What a game that is. 2nd and 10, 5 to finish the backs are in for the Bears. Danielson just gets it away to David Hill, complete. David Hill to the 11-yard line. Close to the first down. Flag down back at the line of scrimmage on the play, and it is against the Detroit Lions. Penalties have hurt the Lions today, and each time it seems that they have come in key situations. Here's a 2nd and 10. Looked like it might be a first down at the 11 of Chicago. They've had 5 penalties for 50 yards. And 4 of the 5 have been of the critical variety where they have really hurt themselves.
And this is going to be a 15-yarder.
Personal foul was the preliminary indication. Let's see what the rest of it is. Gordon McCarter.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 73 offense, repeat, 2nd down.
That is Russ Bollinger, the right guard. Unnecessary roughness, and what a killer penalty that is. The ball is back out at the 36-yard line. 2nd down, slot formation right. Danielson, a quick drop, he's under pressure. Has to run out of bounds, forced out by Osborne. Hampton and Hartenstein providing the pincer effect from each end. Cleveland has defeated Green Bay, a seesaw battle with the Browns winding up on top.
Cleveland scored with 15 seconds left in the game as Brian Sipe threw a pass to Dave Logan, and that was it for the Packers. They lost.
The Browns go to 4-3 in the AFC Central. The Pack falls to 2-4-1. 3rd down with the ball at the 35-yard line. Al Harris comes in for Hampton at the left defensive end for Chicago. Slot formation left for the Lions. Scott in the slot. Leonard Thompson wide left. Bussey and Sims, the running back. Danielson has time. Can't find a man. Now delivers open Leonard Thompson. Thompson, touchdown. Danielson waited and waited, and Thompson delivered, getting himself open, and Danielson hit him perfectly, and the Lions are in the football game.
Unbelievable pass blocking by that injured, banged-up offensive line of the Detroit Lions. Watch how long. We should put a clock on this. Tremendous blocking, 4-man rush by the Bears. There's Whited doing a good job there as he blocks on Hampton and Osborne, everybody, and Thompson caught it in stride. That's the way those receivers like to catch that ball. Touchdown, Lions.
Well, the coverage was very good downfield until the last second. Danielson, with the time, didn't have a target. Then suddenly, Thompson broke loose. Murray's point after is good. And so the Detroit Lions, with 12:09 still to play, are very much back in the football game. We'll return to Soldier Field after this word from your local station.
James.
The Honey Bears are still happy. Their team's still on top, but the Lions have got a life. And what a pass blocking job, as you pointed out, the Lions did on that last play. They went 67 yards in 8 plays. A 34-yard touchdown pass from Danielson to Leonard Thompson. And that kickoff from Murray goes out of bounds at the 10-yard line of Chicago. They'll have to kick it over again from 5 yards farther back.
Tim, we just put a clock on how long he had to throw that ball. Danielson, 6 seconds. He was back there in the pocket and had that long to get the pass off, and it took that long for Thompson to break open as there was good coverage downfield by the Bear defensive backfield.
Well, you know, the Bears, of course, with 23 sacks, they've had such tremendous success on the pass rush this season, and it's not like them to give a quarterback 6 seconds. So you really got to give credit to that battered young offensive line. They've got Fowler out of there. Of course, Dorney gone on to injured reserve, and Tommy Ginn has had to play both guard and center with the injury to Willie Parker. Elias playing hurt. I mean, they really have had problems today, and yet they've been moving it on the ground, or more mainly in the air, but they've just finally been able to score their first touchdown.
They better watch it. Monty Clark will have to suit up himself.
Well, here's a little interesting alignment for the Bears on the kickoff. Now, with the Lions having to kick it from their 30, they've got kind of 2 front lines up there. Maybe we can see that. The Bears. And he lines one, a bouncer. Goes over Williams' head and takes him back to the goal line. Williams will try to bring it up and is forced out of bounds inside the 15 at the 13-yard line of Chicago. So Eddie Murray's line drive kick took a Lions bounce, and the Bears again start from bad field position.
This is one where he probably could have let it go into the end zone because they were kicking from the 30. Nobody would have been downfield that far to recover it for him, as Williams then runs it out and gets it out to about the 13-yard line.
Final score in from Washington, 23-0, the Redskins over the Cardinals. New England now leads Baltimore 30-21 early in the 4th period. And Miami has upset Buffalo 17-14. That's a final. First down Chicago from their 13. Roland Harper, and that is a big gainer out of there, Johnny. He got out to the 17, maybe the 18-yard line. The Lions have got to make the Bears punt here, get the ball back. They got the advantage on the second kickoff, making them start from the 13, and they just didn't want to give up that much yardage on first down, I'm sure. Oldham made the stop. 2nd and 5.
I think they might have to start filling the gaps with those linebackers quicker, just almost like a blitz even on the running plays, because they have to figure if the Bears haven't passed that much now, they better play the run.
Speaking of the pass, 4 times today as all Vince Evans has thrown the ball. Walter Payton got another couple of yards out to the 20-yard line, stacked up by the right side of that defensive unit of the Detroit Lions. Mendenhall and William Gay still in there for Baker, so Baker has not been able to return the last 3 defensive series with a hip injury. We look at the Bears bench.
It's so seldom that Vince has thrown in this game that he'll have to take time out to warm his arm up when they do throw, because this is a throwing situation. 3rd and about, what, 4?
Yeah,
4.5?
4, yeah. James Scott left. Bashnagle right. Play action, rolling is Evans. Bashnagle complete. First down, Brian Bashnagle at the 36-yard line, and Evans put that one right on the money. Walt Williams on the coverage, number 21.
Oh, reliable. Brian Bashnagle went down the field, came back, caught the pass as they moved Evans out on the rollout to give him that option, and he had a man, Robin Earl, was wide open in the middle of the field, too. He had 2 men open that time.
Bashnagle came into the game as the Bears' leading receiver with only 12 catches.
I believe Peyton has more. He's the Bears' leading wide receiver.
Among the wide receivers, what I meant to say. Right you are. Slot formation left. Evans, play action again. Deep. For Scott. Touchdown. James Scott over James Hunter. And Hunter playing interception again, as Wayne Smith had done earlier. Paid the price, and the Bears have reopened the big lead.
Okay, James Scott on the fly pattern straight down the field. Hunter's running with him. He thought the ball was coming, but he timed his look too late, stumbles over his feet, and James Scott cradled it in, both elbows in. And I don't know how far that pass went in the air, but it was a long, long way. James put it down there. He did. Touchdown, Chicago.
Well, Evans hasn't thrown too often, but he's paid dividends when he has. A 64-yard touchdown pass to James Scott. Thomas point after. Evans now 4 out of 7, 156 yards. We'll see it again.
He threw it from about the 20. That ball went about 60 yards in the air.
So it's now 24-7, the Bears in command.
Watch out. Winter's almost here, and wind's gonna get you, and cold's gonna get you, and high fuel bills are gonna get you.
Well, remember, following this game, most of you will see Tampa Bay at Houston, except those stations, of course, affected by the NFL blackout rules, and that includes Chicago. Our Johnny Morris will have a post-game show for the Chicago audience. Bears kickoff is taken by Callicutt. Callicutt picks his way out over the 25 to the 27-yard line of the Lions. And now the Lions will have to strike quickly because time has definitely become a factor, having scored to close it to 17-7. The bomb, Evans to Scott, 64 yards, has reopened the 17-point lead.
And that was a first down pass that the Bears threw that touchdown on.
James Scott has caught 3 of Evans' 4 completions for a total of 140 yards. Evans is 4 of 7. First down, Lions. Slot formation left. Gutty, Gary Danielson, who has been doing his job today. Flags are down everywhere before they got the ball snapped. The contact must have been made at the line of scrimmage.
I think Homer Elias may have moved a little bit too soon, the left guard for Detroit. He got a little bit confused there as the Bears were faking blitzes and stuff and lost control of the count.
Here it comes from Gordon McCarter.
Number 61, offense, still first down.
So it is first and 15 from the Lions 21. Slot formation left. Freddie Scott in the slot. Danielson for Leonard. Thompson can't hold it. He slipped on the artificial turf trying to come back to the ball, which was a little underthrown, and simply could not get stretched out and hold the ball at the same time. Third down as Neil Armstrong talks to Walter Payton on the Bears bench, and there's his running mate, Roland Harper.
On that last play, Billy Sims 2 or 3 times. Sims has been open over the middle on the fly.
Second and 15. Danielson again has time. Deep sideliner for Hill, out of bounds. Coverage by Gary Campbell. Alan Ellis was there also. Third down and 15. Well, an almost critical play here. Danielson 15 for 25, 203 yards and 1 touchdown. But those numbers won't count for much if he doesn't make one here. They've just got to keep this drive going. 9:09 remaining in regulation time. Converted 6 of 11 third downs. 5 defensive backs are in for the Bears. And again, all kinds of motion. And the way Hartenstein went in, he went in as though he had confidence that the Lions had already pulled somebody over.
False start. Offense.
And he was right. Hill backs him up another 5. Makes that third down play a little longer. 3rd and 20. So Buddy Ryan.
Number 74, offense. Still 3rd down.
That's the rookie tackle, Mike Whitehead. Buddy Ryan, the Bears defensive coordinator, sends in some new troops since the situation has become even more difficult for the Lions. Heron is in at linebacker. Wilson. Danielson up the middle for David Hill, and incomplete. Gary Campbell had a better shot at catching it than Hill had. Indeed, Hill put a tackle on Campbell, but the ball went to the turf. So the Lions will have to punt, and the Bears can certainly feel fairly confident right now. Atlanta leading New Orleans 34-14. A close game turning into a rout there. They're still in the 3rd quarter. Houston in front of Tampa Bay 3-0. Most of our stations watching this game will be joining that game. Field goal by Tony Fritz for the Oilers. Delaney just got it away against a rush from Brad Shearer. Tremendous punt. Walterscheid took it on the fly at the 28, forced out of bounds by Leonard Thompson at the 33-yard line of the Bears, and Spladany really nailed one under pressure. We have 8:53 to go in the 4th quarter here at Soldier Field. The Chicago Bears with a commanding 24-7 lead. To Soldier Field with 8:01 to play. Bears 24, Lions 7. Stay with us on CBS all evening long, following football 60 minutes, and then Archie Bunker's Place one day at a time. Alice and the Jeffersons, a fine evening of entertainment ahead on CBS. And Walter Payton did get to the bench under his own power, Johnny, but he looked a little disconsolate, and they were working on his right knee before they got him to his feet. Meanwhile, the Lions following the fumble. The pass is short, intended for David Hill. Again, pressure on Danielson.
Bruce Heron was in there on the blitz. They had a pretty heavy rush. It is supposed to be his ankle, not his knee, which is a good sign for Walter.
So it is 2nd and 10. The Lions trying to capitalize on the turnover. 7:57 remaining in regulation time. They need a fast score. Flags are down, and a Bear came over the line. That was Otis Wilson. Was he drawn over is the question. Lions have had some problems with that, and it looks like they may have had it again. Illegal procedure against the Lions. Now remember, they have got a patchwork quilt of an offensive line in there today, and one must expect some of the problems that they have had with procedure penalties, with snap fumbles, and so on.
Number 16, offense, still 2nd down.
They called that on Danielson. He must have moved his head or jerked his head or did something in such a way that it was considered an illegal move that was unfair to the defense. As you look at Walter there on the sideline, he seems to be walking okay.
Slightly sprained ankle is the official report on Walter Payton. 2nd and 15, Lions. Here comes Hampton. He's got him. Dan Hampton, long loss, 2nd sack of the day, all the way back to the 41-yard line of the Lions. Big defensive play for Chicago. If the Lions were going to capitalize on the Bears' turnover, they had to do it right at that point, at that time. Now things look dark once more.
The former Arkansas star, Dan Hampton, #1 draft choice, who has become a big factor in that Bear defensive line. He and Alan Page anchor. Of course, Jim Osborne. The whole defensive line has been excellent for Chicago this year.
Atlanta has opened their lead over the Saints to 41-14 early in the fourth quarter. The delay call coming up against the Lions. Knock it back another 5.
It's a pretty good drive the other way.
Yep. Back to the 36 it'll go.
10, 20, 35, about 37 yards for a first down.
Delay of game. Offense, still third down.
Bears change up some defensive personnel. Wilson is in. Walderscheid is in. Al Harris comes in for the pass rush. San Diego leading the New York Giants 7-0. John Cappelletti scoring early in the second period at San Diego. Danielson is sacked. Otis Wilson, the #1 pick from Louisville. Been a long afternoon for Gary Danielson. And the Lions will have to punt. And some of the fans saying, I think we got this locked up. And one of the fans is Mayor Jane Burns. And she says, I guess I can leave. Things are comfortable for the Bears.
The Bears have just really changed their strategy quite a bit in the last few minutes. They're just now blitzing the heck out of Danielson, bringing everybody. And they haven't blitzed all that much the entire football game.
Bears office closed on Sunday, Johnny? Yes. Be on Bear home game days anyway. Spladany, another booming punt. Bearcat signaled by Walderscheid. Spladany has just been a sight to see kicking the football all the way down to the 25-yard line of the Bears. A 46-yard kick by Spladany that time. Bears lead it 24-7.
I told my Allstate agent I can't afford life insurance. Well, John, don't put marbles in the penny wrappers. He told us about one of Allstate's affordable life plans. For a 28-year-old, $50,000 in decreasing term insurance for about $11 a month. These pennies could pay for a couple of months. Well, John...
Well, you put your pennies in my marble jar.
Ask about Allstate Life's affordable life plans. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Yes, sirree. Them Daltons had Jesse and the gang trapped. Now, old Jesse had a way out. Of course, it weren't much to the gang's liking, but Jesse had some Stroh's beer, and he knowed his gang would follow that Stroh's beer anywhere. Well, them boys got clean away. Now, you may not believe this here tale, less'n, of course, you drink Stroh's beer.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris at Soldier Field. Bright sunny skies, cold temperatures all afternoon long. And the Bears going with one running back now, an alignment they have used the last couple of weeks, but it's usually been Peyton. Right now, it is Roland Harper. Peyton on the sidelines with a sprained ankle. Roland Harper digs his way to the 25-yard line for a gain of a little more than a yard.
They've gone to a two tight end offense so they can have just the one remaining back. As we look at some of the final scores, Atlanta really whomped on New Orleans 41-14. The Saints are 0-7. Kansas City leads Denver 23-17. New England over Baltimore in the fourth quarter by 9. San Diego early second quarter over the Giants 7-0.
Second down, 9 to go. Peyton is in the game. He needs 6 yards for a 100-yard day, and he breaks a tackle there with a tremendous pop. And he's got himself 100 yards on the afternoon. The ankle's bothering him. It wasn't evident on that play. His shoulder isn't bothering him. Did you see him blast through?
Oh, gee. He was supposed to be hurt. He is so durable. And watch him break this tackle here. And it's Mr. Fantetti, 57, who he bangs off of and finally brought down by Charlie Weaver was right there, yeah.
Weaver gave him a good rap, too, but what a hit Peyton put on Fantetti. There's that Atlanta 41-14 over New Orleans in the fourth quarter. That game not over yet. Peyton now has 101 yards on the game, 27 carries. Third and 2. Roland Harper squirms and battles his way for a first down. 35-yard line. And that should just about seal it. 5:13 remaining. A Bears first down at the 35-yard line. Fantetti and Gary Cobb made the tackle. Cobb, number 63, second-year linebacker from USC. Now, one would think that Walter Payton will get the rest of the day off. Dave Williams is in, number 22.
This is a big day for a lot of Chicago Bears. This is homecoming. All the old ex-Bears are coming back for a big banquet tonight. The Bears have lost 5 straight games for homecoming, but not this Sunday.
Dave Williams picks up 5 on his first carry of the afternoon.
Williams, the
40-yard line.
by Weaver.
We have not seen Al Baker since early in the third period. He went out with a bruised hip and did not return, and obviously his presence
Gain of 5, second and 5.
is missed out there on this very good Lions defensive team. William Gay's been doing a pretty good job out there, but Bubba Baker's something special. And the injuries continue to pile up to the Lions. That offensive line is a real serious area. Williams dropped behind the line of scrimmage.
Williams, the ball carrier.
Well, we'll be going quickly to the Tampa Bay-Houston game, so just kind of projecting the NFC Central circumstances here. Detroit losing this game will fall to 5-2. Minnesota has lost and goes to 3-4. Green Bay has lost and goes to 2-4-1. Tampa Bay, the game you'll be seeing, most of you will be seeing, and the Bears will move up to 3-4, so it tightens up the Central Division of the NFC. Chicago area will not see that Tampa Bay-Houston game. Instead, they'll get to see Johnny Morris for a few minutes. Special bonus. Our pal and partner will be down there for a post-game show. Third down and 7. Evans rolling. Sideliner complete to Ricky Watts. Pulled down at the Lions' 46-yard line by Ken Fantetti. And Fantetti has had an outstanding game today. He's been all over the field. He's obviously a never-say-die guy, and is the future in the middle there for the Lions defensively.
Gain of 16, first and 10 Bears.
First down for the Chicago Bears at the Lions' 46-yard line. Ken Fantetti, 6'2", 230, out of Wyoming, just 23 years of age. They've had a few good middle linebackers in Detroit over the years, and I guess he's got to live by those comparisons. Tall order. Slot formation, they give it to Harper. He's got a good hole off left guard, and he gets inside the 40 to the 39-yard line before James Hunter, the cornerback, number 28, pulled him down. Good blocking by Neil Jackson and Albrecht on the left side of the Bears' offensive line. Neil Armstrong can breathe a little more easily, feel a little better about things.
This is the first game, well, last week it started, but since Harper got back, up until that time, the remaining back, other than Payton, hadn't got any yards throughout the season. Payton was doing it all. Now it seems to be a combination, and it means Chicago leads Detroit 24-7.
Final score in New England over Baltimore, 37-21. Chuck Foreman, the ex-Viking, got the final touchdown for the Pats, and they are now alone in first place in the AFC East. Buffalo having lost earlier to Miami. The Patriots go to 6-1, Buffalo to 5-2. San Francisco leads the Rams 3-0 on a field goal in the second period. Second and 3 to go for the Bears. Roland Harper, and he has got nowhere to go. Stan White pinching in from the right linebacker position, and William Gay, the right defensive end, just gave him nowhere to go, and he was dropped for a loss of about 4 yards. It'll be third down and 6 to go. Fisher comes in at tight end. Matt Suey comes in at running back.
Third and 6.
Williams and Harper come out.
Well, Monty Clark will have to be thinking about regrouping because the Lions have another road game next week against the AFC, and they got to get back together. Hope those linemen get well.
Time winding down. Bears trying to keep the ball here. Matt Suey. The Lions stop him short of the first down. Scrappy defense. Lions today, it was Jimmy Allen, number 40, the safety, coming up to make the hit. And the Bears They'll have to punt unless they decide to run it on 4th and short. It's not so short. It's going to be 4th and 2. We'd like to thank our production staff and our outstanding technical crew for their work here this afternoon. Our producer here on the site, David Fox. Our director from Chicago, Chris Erskine. Associate producer, Paul Arndt. Engineer in charge, Dick Shapiro. And the rest of our outstanding technical staff, Bob Chesney, Bob Hanford, Ken Wilkie, Mike Mahavik. We thank you, gentlemen. Parsons lofts a punt there, and it's a good kick. Short and downed or not. Well, the 3 Bears tried to keep that ball out of the end zone, but they couldn't quite do it. Baschnagel had the last shot at it. Nice effort, but it winds up a touchback. Good punt by Parsons.
And I think it was Bruce Heron who made the dive to try and keep it up. Is that Heron? No, it's Paul Tabor did. And then there was Baschnagel trying to keep it from going across that line. Did not quite do it.
So the Lions, first down from the 20 with 10 seconds to go. And the Lions will fall to 5-2, but they are still atop the Central Division of the NFC, thanks to their 4-0 start. Picked up about 3 yards, and the time ticks away. The Chicago Bears have scored a 24-7 victory. They started Vince Evans at quarterback to get a passing offense that they lacked last week against Minnesota, and earlier in the season, they didn't need it. Walter Payton, a good rushing offense, and again, outstanding defense doing the job. Detroit getting into some penalty problems, and the Bears won it 24-7. For Johnny Morris, I'm Tim Ryan, reminding you the NFL on CBS continues after this word from your local station.
When the government says you're distressed, you're distressed. It makes no difference that you never felt better in your life. What are we talking about? Watch 60 Minutes this evening on CBS.
Hi, I'm Rusty Jones, and I'll fight rust for as long as you own your car, even where a factory warranty leaves off. From the rocky coast of Maine to the Gulf of Mexico, thousands of dealers offer my Rusty Jones option, the one new car option that appreciates in value. I'll stay with you.
Hello, Rusty Jones. Goodbye, Rusty cars. It's all up to you, and you're gonna do it, and everyone is with you all the way. You got it! Give that man a blue ribbon. Give that.
It's time now for the Pro Report with Johnny Morris and Bruce Roberts. Now, here's Bruce.
Welcome to the Pro Report. Johnny is standing by at Soldier Field with his happy guests. We'll have highlights of today's game and all the other NFL action, one of which took place in Miami, where the Dolphins upset the Bills 17-14. 3 minutes into that game, with the Bills at their own 45, Joe Ferguson throwing to Joe Cribbs, lost his footing, got up, then fumbled the ball. Don Veselu picked it up, went 44 yards for the Dolphins touchdown. It was 7-0 Miami. The Dolphins went on to surprise the Bills 17-14. We'll have more highlights. Check all the scores in just one moment.
The Pro Football Report is sponsored in part by Central National Bank of Chicago.
Let's take a look at what happened thus far in the NFL. The Eagles 17-10 over Dallas. The Browns beat the Packers in the last 16 seconds. The Bengals 14-0 over the Vikings. The Redskins shut out the Cardinals. As we mentioned, the Dolphins upset the Bills. The Seahawks 27-17 over the Jets. The Falcons are killing the Saints in the fourth. The Patriots beat the Colts in the final. The Chiefs over the Broncos, that in the fourth period. In late starting games, the Rams 49ers scoreless in the first. The Chargers lead the Giants 7-0 in the second. The Oilers 6-0 over the Bucks, that in the second. Now let's take a look at some of the highlights, shall we? In New York, the Jets trailed late in the half when Richard Trod found Mickey Schuler free in the end zone, tied the Schuler 7-3 Jets at halftime. But the Seahawks roared back to 24 second-half points. Sam McCullum blocked that Jet punt. Jesse Green went the final 27 yards. Seattle won it 27-17. As to New England, they struck first in their showdown with the Colts. Steve Grogan found reliable Harold Jackson, 38-yard TD to make it 7-0. Burt Jones led the Colts back, but this toss to Don McCauley just wasn't enough, unfortunately. In the Orange Bowl, the Dolphins avenged their earlier loss to the Bills' 17-14 victory. Joe Cribbs fumbled the Ferguson screen. You saw it. Don Besselou picked it up 44 yards, a 7-0 Miami lead. A portent of things to come. Fumbles played a big role in the game. The second one by Cribbs set up Miami's next score as the Dolphins recovered at the Bills' 27-yard line. Moments later, it was David Woodley who took over after that fumble. He threw his first career National Football League touchdown, a 3-yarder to Nat Moore. As for Cribbs, the Auburn rookie tried to make up for that mistake, but his 3-yard scoring run wasn't enough. The Dolphins handed the Bills their second loss of the year by a score of 17-14. In the Cleveland Brown win, the Browns struck first. We will see Brian Sight, knee brace and all, throwing 30 yards to Reggie Rucker, all the way down to the Green Bay 1-yard line. Mike Pruitt then went over the middle to make it 10-0 Browns. They held on to beat the Pack. In Cincinnati, the Bengals coasted by the Vikings. Ken Anderson throwing a 35-yard lob to Isaac Curtis. This took it down to the 15. Moments later, it was Pete Johnson bagging in to make it 7-0 Bengals. Now for the Washington Redskins. In their op, Joe Theismann's 4-yard toss to Clarence Harmon made it 7-zip. Theismann threw for 191 yards in the first half, 38 on this TD strike to Ricky Thompson, and it was 16-0 Washington. The Cardinals' defense no better against the run. Harmon broke free off left tackle. This a 20-yard score as Washington wins it. In the Cowboys' loss to the Eagles, it was scoreless. 3:23 left in the first quarter. Jaworski creamed Mike Herman. 7-0 Dallas. It was 7-3 in the second quarter when Jaworski went back to throw again. Better success. 5-yard TD pass to Harold Carmichael. 10-7 Eagles, and a Dallas field goal made it 10-10 at the half. The Eagles won it in the second half. It was Charlie Johnson. Watch the interception on Danny White. This gave the Eagles the ball at the Dallas 19-yard line. Moments later, Jaworski threw a TD pass of 15 yards to Charlie Smith to win it for Philadelphia by a final score of 17-10. A last-ditch Cowboy effort fell short. Tony Hill couldn't come up with a catch for the tying TD. Let's see that right now. As White to Hill, can he get it? He doesn't. And the Eagles won the game. And we'll be back with more on Pro Report in just one moment. Back. Johnny Morris will join us with a special guest just a moment. First, let us again see how the Bears just completely demoralized the Detroit Lions. The Lions took the kickoff, and on the second play of the game, Billy Sims on the fumble, and the Bears recovered at the Detroit 29. Are we going to see that tape? Yeah. We are. All right. It was actually Detroit outgained Chicago all in the first quarter. But as we will see, the key play, and it occurred, as you will see, on the second play, Sims fumbling, the Bears recovered. Then from the 27, it was Walter Payton who gained over 100 yards. He went 15 to the Detroit 12 here. Chicago then drove to the 1, where on a 3rd and inches, Vince Evans' sneak made it 7-0 Bears. The Lions took over. Gary Danielson immediately went to work. This to Dexter Bussey. He proceeded 30 yards to the Bears 38. Nobody picked up Dexter coming out of the backfield. Then it was Billy Sims who got the call. Billy knifes in and goes down to the Chicago 26. Moments later, it was Sims for 11 yards, this time down to the Chicago 10. But then the Chicago defense came to 4. Watch Mike Hartenstein tripping up Bussey, this for a loss of 2. Then Hartenstein applied the pressure. Tom Hicks came up with the sack of Danielson, so Eddie Murray came in, and his 35-yard field goal attempt, he doesn't miss often, missed here, missed to the right. The Bears still led 7-zip. Early in the second quarter, the Lions were on the move again. At the Bears 28, on a 3rd and 8, Danielson to Sims, this a 10-yard pickup. 2 plays later, after a 1-yard loss, Danielson under pressure threw to David Hill down to the Chicago 5. But again, the Bears held So Eddie Murray came in, his 18-yard field goal attempt good, but the Bears had encroached on the play before the snap, so the 3 points were wiped out. So Murray came in to try again. This time it was blocked. As Johnny and Dan Hampton look on, the Bears still held on to a 7-0 lead, although they were completely dominated at this point. Late in the quarter, Evans mounted an 86-yard scoring drive. It started with Vince and a 22-yard completion to James Scott. What a combination today. This to the Lions 48. Then on a 3rd and 3, Peyton on the pitch, 15 yards to the Detroit 21. Doesn't this look good? Roland Harper next. Only a 6-yard gain. Johnny, look at this fine effort. That's just super, isn't it? And with 3 seconds left in the half, Bob Thomas on the 17-yard field goal made it 10-0 Chicago at halftime. The Bears took the second half kickoff, and they continued where they left off. On the second play of the 3rd quarter from the 30, Evans, a 59-yard bomb to James Scott. Scott finally forced out at the Lions 11. From there, Peyton on good, solid running went 7 yards down to the Detroit 4. And then Harper's first touchdown in 1980. What a difference he makes. 17-0 Bears. The way it stood with 12:09 left to play when Danielson threw for Detroit's first score of the game. 34-yard touchdown pass here to Leonard Thompson. It was 17-7. But Evans and the Bears right back with a bomb of their own. Throwing here again to Scott. Jim Hunter, the defender on the play, fell, as you will see, a 64-yard TD. The result, the Bears had scored more points than they had all a regular season. It was 24-7. That is the way it ended. And we'll return to Soldier Field for smiling Johnny Morris and Dan Hampton in just one moment. Dan Hampton, John, it is all yours.
Thank you, Bruce. I'm not standing by, I'm sitting by. I'm enjoying sitting down and enjoying this victory that the Chicago Bears had today. We'll talk about offense in a moment, but really one of the keys to this victory again was the Chicago defense. They held the Lions to 7 points, and you know, they had a shutout 2 weeks ago. They really held Minnesota last week, so it's been defense, 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 and Dan Hampton has been a part of that. And Dan, your game plan must have worked perfectly.
Well, you know, Buddy Brown, our defensive coordinator, always comes up with a really good game plan against the good offenses. Sometimes it's the weaker ones we get kind of sidetracked on. But we knew that if we shut down Sims' running game, they'd have to throw the ball. And once we got them to do that, it was more or less in our hands.
I know it's very interesting. You guys didn't blitz too much in the first half, and really started blitzing more late in the game when they were behind.
Well, we hate to blitz, you know, unless we have to. And while we had the lead, we knew that we didn't have to, you know, really gamble. And late in the game, we knew they were going to have to gamble, so we was going to capitalize on it. So I was glad that late in the game we got a couple of sacks because, you know, we always like to have those. But early in the game, we got some pressure on him, but we gave him a little bit too much time on, I think, that one touchdown pass. That was just too much time, and we can always get better.
You know, they were running a rookie, Mike White, against you. What do you think about that when you're going into a game and you know a guy who hasn't played very much and he's a rookie and he doesn't, you know, just hasn't been in there? Did you plan any strategy that way?
Well, not really. Essentially, they've all been drilled and they know what to do. Experience makes a big difference in a lot of areas, but a lot of times in our stunts and so forth, you know, rookie can pick it up. You know, it's just a matter of coordination, and they didn't have a coordination between the guard and tackle one time, and I got the sack on that late in the game. But the rookie, he played really well, and the thing was, early in the game, we run a lot of 5-2 fronts, and I really didn't play against him that much. But when I did, he was a good player.
Well, you roughed Danielson up a little bit.
Yes, I wish I could have got him on the ground a little bit more, but he I don't know if he had too good a day throwing the ball, but he's always hurt us in the past, and all I can say is we just better strap it up for Thanksgiving.
Okay, Dan, you did a good job. The fact the whole defense has, I hope you keep it up because the offense is coming on because we got James Scott, and we're going to be back in just a moment with James Scott, who caught those 2 long bombers and put the game on ice for Chicago. We'll be back in a moment. Bruce?
And, Johnny, we have a couple of updates for you. The Rams lead the 49ers 7-3, that in the first. Now in the second quarter, the Chargers 7-0 over the Giants, still in the second. And the Oilers over the Bucks 13-0 in the second. The World Series stands 0-0, Phillies and Royals in the second. And now, if Johnny's all ready, and apparently he is sitting down, let's have John and James Scott.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. And James, it must have been very satisfying for you to get things back in the groove, have somebody throwing the ball at you.
Yeah, I feel great.
Let's talk about the first pass, the long one that Wayne Smith went for the interception. What was that, a flag?
Yeah, it was, a corner pattern, and I got a roll-up on that, and it was really what I wanted, and he pushed me inside.
And we can take a look at it as Smith went for the interception. You took it down the sidelines. You could have cut back here, but he had a real good angle on you.
Yeah, he did. I think I should have just took out and called the ball.
Walter Payton makes things easy for you, doesn't he?
Right. Hey, like I said, you know, when we're able to make these big plays, that'll open up the running game a little bit more, I think.
And there was Roland Harper going in for the touchdown. It's good to have him back. Here's the long bomber, and I don't think he thought that Vince could throw the ball that far because he turned and lost his footing.
He did. Well, we were bumping each other, you know, down the field, and he bumped me about 2 times, and on the third, on a third time, he just lost his footing, and the ball hung up there, and I just concentrated on the ball.
You know, Vince Evans is a great quarterback to work with because, you know, very seldom is he going to underthrow you.
Right, the guy just tells you, hey, to take off and don't stop running. So hey, I just take off and he gets the ball out.
I know the hamstring must be a lot better. I saw your run there. Couldn't be anything wrong with that now.
Well, I'm still not 100%. I think I'm about maybe 97% right now.
Well, I'll take you at 97%. Were there very many audibles called? Did you change many plays at the line of scrimmage today?
Well, right at the beginning of the game we did. We called a couple and we kind of, you know, missed them. Some of the guys missed them, so we just kind of cut off on him.
Now, that was a first down pass, that one that you got for the touchdown. Had you called that, had you asked him to throw you that pattern, or was that just sent in from the bench, you didn't know it was coming?
Yeah, in the past, I played against James Hunter, and he's got a tendency to back inside a lot. And I had told him that I could, you know, beat him on a go. And then Mike Phipps set the play up. We got it in.
Okay, now you caught all those passes. You didn't catch too many, but a lot of yards. I want to know, how was your blocking today, James?
Well, it could have been a lot better. I can always improve on that.
Okay, well, you had a great game, and it's good to see the Bear offense do so well. And we're going to be back in just a moment, hopefully with Vince Evans, who is being mobbed by reporters in the locker room, Bruce, but we're going to do our best to be back with him.
Fine, John, thank you very much. We have a couple of stats that I think are quite meaningful. Payton, 27 carries, 101 yards. Evans, 8 attempts, 5 completions for 172 yards. His best day. He probably will start again against Philadelphia. As I said, Philadelphia was a 17-10 winner over the Cowboys. The Packers lost to the Browns 26-21. The Bengals shut out the Vikings 14-0. The Skins 23-0 over the Cards, 17-14. The Dolphins upset the Bills 27-17. The Seahawks by 10 over the Jets. 41-14 with 1 minute to go. Atlanta over the Saints. The Pats 37-21 over the Colts. That a final. Another final, 23-17. The Chiefs indeed upset the Broncos. Nothing later on the late games. 7-3 Rams 49 over the 49ers in the second. The Chargers 7-0 in the second, and the Oilers 13-0 over the Bucks. That also in the second. John, I don't know if we have time for Vince Evans, as I'm sure you'll have him on your show tomorrow. So we'll call it quits for now. We'll have an update of all the scores and highlights on the news at 5:30, and then of course at 10. So be sure to join us. And for Johnny Morris, Bruce Roberts bidding you all a very pleasant good afternoon.